Hello, friends. Welcome to World of Quest, where you get to experience live, authentic, and late D&D, as always.
And we have no sound, almost assuredly.
True, and we have no sound frequently.
I don't know.
It's true. I hope we do have sound. With that, we are back. We have no news, so we are just going to play. Where we had left off last time, you guys have seemingly entered into what appears to be another anchor spot, a place seemingly frozen in time at first. However, upon entering it, you have interacted with a few individuals that seem to know a little bit more about events outside of the current ongoings of what appears to be the Dragon War time that you had entered into. You had first met with a rhino-like dragon, although your conversation, your discord with him was quite brief, as he was interrupted by a human who, technically not confirmed, but is all but confirmed to be Orlevel. A fight ensued. Orlevel seemed to outclass this rhino dragon in spectacular fashion. Although he was able to damage him a little bit. Overall, it seemed that Orlevel was widely unperturbed or damaged by the fight. He stole the horn of the dragon, and a brief conversation was had with Orlevel as well, where he both prompted you for some information, and then also, hard to say realized, was told that you guys were from a different time. He seemed to be very interested in where you guys were from, and specifically in what the name of or different names that you knew of individuals, whether it be the Dragon King or who you had referred to as Bahamut and Tiamat. You just seemed to have a strong interest in it. After he decided to leave, or right before he decided to leave, sorry, he invited you to the Dragon Festival, a celebration that seems to be happening that you guys could see off in the distance with hundreds, if not thousands, of dragons that seemed to be just spread across the sky. He was able to teleport you a little bit closer before seemingly disappearing, and you guys had a brief encounter with what appeared to be an ancient black dragon that caught your guys' attention. While he showed initial interest, he seemed to quickly become disinterested as a golden dragon interrupted his conversation with you, and he immediately dispatched with it, bringing it down to mere bones and cinders with just his breath. From there, it seems that a little bit of almost a scuffle has erupted in the sky. The black dragon is now fighting with a multitude of other dragons, mostly gold. And really, that is actually where we had left off, is with you guys seeing these dragons fighting in the sky above you, still, again, about a mile away from the edge of the canyon. Yes, I almost said caravan. At the edge of the canyon that seems to surround Lone Peak, which, again, is not how it looks in modern times. Lone Peak is a rock surrounded by plains. There's no canyon at all. With that, we are going to be starting. Was it?
Quick question on the geography. Was there a trail, or is it just open field unworked?
It is just open field unworked, both in present and current. The only difference is the area immediately surrounding Lone Peak in present is also just unworked plain, whereas right now there is effectively a canyon, a moat of a canyon, you might say, surrounding Lone Peak. With that, the dragons still fight in the sky. You guys have about a mile to go. What do you wish to do?
We'll not get eaten. That's the first.
Isn't there like a cavern in front of us? Like
about a mile ahead.
Canyon? Sorry.
About a mile ahead is where the canyon is, yes. It is still apparent as well that a multitude of dragons have caught note of you, but due to the fight that is happening, at this point, it's probably about 1,000 feet, kind of up at an angle to you. The fight happening between the black dragon, I'd say about a dozen other dragons. They seem either too wary of that fight to really approach you, or too interested in it. The reasoning to be varied. no other dragons seem to be making a move on you, despite the fact that it's clear your presence is known.
Just so you know, you're free to have those Oreos that are right there.
Maybe. We'll see.
So, Kane, I think we're going to follow your lead here. I'm not exactly sure of the etiquette.
The etiquette, truthfully, might makes right here.
So we killed them all?
If you had the strength, yes.
Just do that.
I'm kind of using
that.
you as a guide in
Do
this
that.
situation.
Do that Talos thingy, you know, the big, like, mountain lightning bolt thing.
Better plan. We walk straight for the caves, and we ignore them because we are invited guests. Thoughts?
That was my plan, yes.
Awesome.
I start walking.
All right.
Okay. So Razu just starts to proceed towards Lone Peak, or at least that canyon around it.
I feel like Tiku's like darting around.
I would
I don't have enough food.
Not enough offerings!
Fighting
attempting to hide behind Razu, mostly succeeding. However, the width of your wings would be enough that you're definitely still visible as people kind of look back. The days of Tiku truly being able to hide behind her allies are slightly gone, unfortunately.
I'm sure if you stay long enough, they'll eventually think you want to participate, which you totally can do.
Proceeding onward.
Participate in the fighting that's going on?
Yeah.
I assume that everyone is going with Razu. You
Yes.
guys are continuing to move forward. Okay. So as you guys
I'm fine
continue
with
to
Razu
move
taking
forward,
the front and eating first. Like that works for me.
as you guys continue to move forward, looking at the battle above of that black dragon with those dozen or so, again, mostly gold dragon, but there does appear to be some other mainly metallic dragons. You see, a little bit interestingly for you, you see a silver dragon that seems to be in the mix. The silver dragon looking to be the one that's actually holding their own the best, despite being much smaller in nature. The dragons that it's fighting appear to be mostly adult. The silver, again, just appears to be even almost like going to adolescent. It's like just on the edge
Similar
of being an
stage
adult.
to Malorith.
A little bit bigger.
So, young
But-
adult?
It would be a young adult to technically be the way to say that. But despite its stature and clearly its impacts not holding as much
Wait.
as much weight as some of the other dragons that appear to be fighting this black dragon, it is entirely untouched. In fact, even for the rest of you, not being as familiar with dragons themselves, the way the dragon even almost seems to fly around almost gives you the impression of almost like a fencer with the way that it flies. It is almost kind of hiked back. As it fights, it seems to have longer claws, and it uses them to keep the black dragon at length, keeping itself safe, while not again doing that much damage. But even as you guys continue to walk, you can tell the black dragon, with the size that it has, as it fells other dragons and they fall from the sky, it's clear that it's getting tired as the silver dragon continues to almost seemingly play or dance around with this ancient black dragon. As soon as you guys get probably about, I would say once you get to about a quarter mile out from the canyon, actually before that.
Can I make a history check? As I assume with that fighting style, it should be well known, especially if they survive long enough to be in the present time. Have I heard of any silver dragons with this
You
fighting
make a
style?
history check.
Can I guidance this?
Yeah. You rummage through your brain, trying to think of any dragon you might know of.
That is a 15.
You have not heard of any. Not only have you not heard of a silver dragon that fights this way, you've never heard of a dragon that fights this way. Though it's the way that it flies around, and again, the way that it seems to almost the spacing that it's using and how it's fighting, not using its breath weapon, more so utilizing its claws and effectively different magical spells, all at a low tier as well. It does not seem to be using your typical like high magic that you'd see like ancient powerful dragons use. It matches nothing. This thing almost doesn't even act like a dragon. Even from the way as it's fighting, you hear the roar again, the almost like serpentine roar of the black dragon. The sounds you hear from it almost sound more of like chuckles. as the sound that echoed to it would almost be more of like a almost like a bird. It definitely seems a little bit alien in the encounter.
Weird.
With that, as you guys get to about a quarter mile out from the edge of the canyon, at this point you can see a little bit better into not directly in front of you, but almost off to the sides of Lone Peak. You can see that this canyon goes down probably about 200 to 300 feet to where you, off in the distance you can kind of see there appears to be what almost looks like dozens of humanoids. They look extremely small, but on the edges that you can see, it's almost as if the bottom of the canyon is just lined with people. And it looks like hundreds and hundreds of people. Again, almost more than the dragons that you see in the sky. As you guys continue to get closer to the edge of the canyon, you start to realize more and more that there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that currently surround Lone Peak. This is a massive gathering of both dragon and of different, and I would say different humanoids, as there is even from this distance, a plethora of different
Are there
races.
any humans as high up as we are?
As you guys start to get a little bit closer, not immediately on the plains, but getting up to the point where you can almost see down into the canyon, you notice that there is effectively walkways that have been cut out into the stone. Almost like how typically you would add stairs, but rather than mounting stairs and like building the stairways on the sides of the mountain, it is instead almost like they've cut into the stone. As you kind of like look out, the only reason you can kind of get an idea of the stairways near you is as you look to the right and the left, you can see it almost looks like ants digging down into the sides of this canyon, almost making like it almost looks like you're looking at a colony with a giant hole down the middle, and you can see the pathways that seem to lead out from it. To the point that you would get the impression that there is an entire network of tunnels or an underdark and underground to the entirety of the plains area here.
This is for humans?
Yes.
Humanoids?
Humanoids, although many of the tunnels are easily big enough for dragons. In fact, while the majority of the dragons seem to be flying around, some of them actually mounting on the different parts of Lone Peak, as you look down, you can see that there are dragons that have almost like worship stations. You see dragons that are almost like proudly posing with, in some cases, literally. You have people bowing to them and seemingly worshiping them, some bringing what appears to be offerings. You see much more well-off people with almost like caravans of gold that they bring, and they just drop wagons of gold off on the feet of different dragons that are about the base of this canyon.
Do I see any of them being eaten anywhere?
As of right now, no. It seems that despite a very hustled nature to the ongoings below, there does not seem to be any hostilities other than the dragons up above and the occasional fallout. The only thing that you see where an individual dies is as another dragon brawl breaks out and a dragon falls from the sky. It does land in a little group of people, and you would immediately be like, yeah, that's probably like 6 or 7 people that just died as this dragon falls and lands on them. Obviously dead from its encounter.
No.
Was it observed?
I had something, but time passed.
Apologies. Okay. But with that, as you guys kind of at the edge of it start to look for the nearest path or a tunnel to lead down, you would hear what would be an unfamiliar voice to you. Is you hear, "So, you are the new guests then, yes?" Kind of like looking around.
Very new.
You actually don't see whoever's talking.
Is it coming from the cave?
I'm just gonna say it. I'm not new to disembodied voices.
True. What did you ask, Kazu?
Is it coming from the cave direction?
No, it
And
seems to be
can
coming
we
from
see in the cave?
It seems to be coming from above you.
Look up.
Look up again. Nothing seems to be there. Oh, my apologies. As what appears to be a dragonborn appears, but he looks a little bit off. His face is human, almost like in where you would normally wear a mask, and then around that is Dragonborn. He's still got the almost reptilian-like head where it's his face almost protrudes slightly forward.
Is this a
He has
proto-Dragonborn?
horns. I don't even know what that is. He has 2 horns that seem to go quite far off the back of his head, being like a foot long on the right, but then the left one is clearly broken, as it seems almost like a foot of that horn has been snapped. And then the way that his scale has started to heal is it's almost curved and gone to the left. So it almost looks like he's got horns growing in 2 different directions for how it's broken. Again, despite what is a human-like, and it would almost appear like our modern androids when you look at an android and it's kind of got that ring where a very human face, although a little bit almost, again, protruding forward, the rest of the body going to the dragonborn scales, no ears on the side of his head, instead almost what appears to be rock mounds seem to go where, or seem to lap over where his ears would be. And then the actual clothing that he wears just appears to be quite ornate scale mail that adorns the symbol of a dragon, not of Bahamut or Tiamat, though. The dragon that is on this on the chest of this is a dragon that seems to be grabbing a pocket watch. The pocket watch is opened sideways. He's on the side with the watch. One of his hands is effectively laying over the pocket watch that appears to be almost like representing one of the hands of the clock, pointing at 12. And then there's an actual, I guess that would still be a hand, an actual hand on the pocket watch pointing at 3. So almost as if the dragon is somehow both lying on the pocket watch and a part of it in the picture.
And he just dropped invis?
Yes, he appeared to just remove his invisibility spell and is now just floating in the air above you. Also barefoot for what it's
Does it seem
worth,
like
which
a
would be
spell or
uncommon.
some type of
So, where do you-
camouflage?
You would have no idea.
Would we know what a watch is?
A pocket watch, yeah.
Okay.
So, were you hiding from the dragons?
Of sorts, you could say that. They always want. They're so feisty.
Yes, we found that coming in. Big black one wanted to eat us for a moment.
Oh, are you not claimed then? As he smiles, and despite the human face, very clear, pronounced canines and almost sharp teeth for the rest of his mouth gives way to an unsettling feeling.
I'm just like looking at Kane, like, what the fuck is he talking about?
I would just be like,
I'm just gonna ask.
claimed.
Claimed what?
We are to an extent.
And smile goes away. And as the smile fades, you notice blood seems to trickle out of his mouth. And he just kind of licks it up.
Not on the menu today, no.
That's all right.
So
We have plenty of.
Are you a dragon?
Of course. What else would I
Are you a
be?
vampire dragon?
This is a little weird.
Oh, as he places his hand on his face and he moves it down, seems completely dragonborn. The human style of it and that again almost like android-like face seems to hard to know if he just changed it like a shapeshift or if he dropped an illusion or put on an illusion. But his face goes to a little bit more of a pronounced dragonborn, slightly pronounced jaw.
Investigation?
Go ahead.
Oh, that jumped out. Try again.
Can I do
12.
12.
Not great.
You would be convinced that there's some kind of magic going on. You have no idea how he did it. If he did just cast a spell, it was absolutely seamless. Think like subtle hand. So he would have done it to the point that you could not even tell. Or maybe he dropped a spell. That, in fact, I would say that's probably where you would lean due to the lack of incantation or somatic.
It's a little less distracting. I appreciate that.
Yes, sorry about that. As his voice actually changes as well, seems to go a little bit deeper. He says, I forget sometimes how my appearance can seem to those less informed. Now, you said you're claimed, as sad as that might be. Do you at least have a way to join the celebration?
I I think we're just kind of wandering in here right now.
Didn't-
We didn't really
didn't-
get much direction.
Didn't your dragon god said he'd, like, come pick us up or something?
No. He actually stated that joining the celebration was half the fun.
So yeah, we got dropped off.
Yeah, very cryptic. We weren't given the really clear instructions.
Do you have a user
Some
manual?
do like to play. Go ahead, Tiku, before I...
Tiki wants to go look up at the dragons and see if either the black or the silver dragon is no longer in the sky.
As you look back, distracted by this individual, they're no longer in the sky, but they are grounded. The black dragon and the silver dragon are the only ones that remain. The black dragon still seemingly frustrated. The area around it, the dirt itself, seemingly stained and melted with what is obviously multiple different breath attacks that the dragon had used. It seems very tired, almost sluggish, as it snaps at the silver dragonborn, who again now looks even more alien, as it is standing on its hind legs. And the way that rather than having its front legs like hang to the side that you would see from a dragon in almost like a resting position, it is using its hands almost like a professional fighter or a monk to almost bat the black dragon's head away as it attempts to bite at it, using it effectively looks like he's using a varied form of martial arts, as there's no grips, there's no grabs. Everything he does almost appears to be open palm, as it is still a dragon's foot and it does not actually have like necessarily opposable fingers. It is clear that the black dragon is losing to this silver dragon.
Well, the black dragon appears to be gassing out. I guess he should have got more cardio.
The dragonborn, red dragonborn, if I didn't mention that.
This
that
is why you stay flexible.
The red dragonborn you're currently talking with.
First rule of surviving Dragonland: cardio.
There is few who can tango with him, to be fair. But if you wish to join the celebration, please let me introduce you. As at this point he would land next to you guys and walks towards the edge of the cliff, and he says, if you really wish to, and he gestures towards the tunnel that would go down in the stairway that would eventually take you to the bottom. He says, if you really wish to just enter as no ones, by all means, feel free. But
Oh, I am not no one. I'm Clay Beekman.
marvelous. Then let you be known. As he seemingly steps off of the
Soon
back.
you will be Clay Lunchman.
Hey, Kane, did I just do something bad or good?
I would then.
You announced yourself to every dragon.
Does announcing yourself mean you
I have my
accepted the
badge.
challenge?
He just stepped off the side of the canyon.
I guess we'll find out, Roger.
As
like down the canyon?
as you go to look down the canyon, you're met with almost the sound of like, and you hear almost what sounds like almost like a rapid growth. As Razu kind of like going up to the edge, you would catch the aftermath of this dragonborn seemingly reverting into his red dragon shape, as what appears to be yet another ancient size, or a dragon of ancient scale, red dragon seems to, and again, more metamorphosize. That's probably a cooler way to say that. As you go to ask your question, it flies back up and lands next to you, its head kind of coming down low.
So as this is happening over the next few seconds. So, how do you feel about taking on a dragon on your
I
own?
don't.
Well, you might not have a choice. I think he's going to.
Well, again,
announce
the instructions
you.
weren't very clear.
You're good on your own.
At this point, this is where like the ground would shake as the red dragon lands back next to you.
And we're just going to keep like bickering.
So is
The
there?
instructions weren't very clear, and like I thought it's rude not to give you my name.
Do you have a user manuals for dummies?
As the dragon's head comes down low to you.
Dragon etiquette for dummies.
To explain the size of this dragon as well, as it brings its head down to you, Razu is a fairly large individual, and you're about the size of its eye. You're effectively looking at the serpent iris that is your entire body to this red dragon. As
Oh, it's that many.
yeah, size-wise, that is what you guys would be dealing with. As it opens its mouth, you watch as that same almost like blood, but it's slightly orange, that seemed to be trickling out of his mouth before. As he opens it, it kind of like spills a little bit off of his jaw. And as it hits the ground, it just doesn't seem to stop. It seems to almost just like make an instant hole into the ground.
Does
you
it
imagine
go
it
through
goes.
glass?
You have no idea. You don't have any glass that it hit. But
Like, is it continuously dripping?
no, this is almost like a drip off of his mouth, to the point that as it does, again, you would see what is a massive like tongue to you, just kind of.
Do
Lick it
I,
up.
as an alchemist, know a substance that goes through glass? Besides, like, lava. But I feel like
Anything of
anything that's
Anything that
sufficiently
is
hot.
super, super hot can make glass.
Yeah.
In fact, glass isn't made with lava; it's made with fire.
I know it's made with fire. I'm saying, like, if you put lava in glass, the glass will
The glass
crack.
would shatter, yes.
It will break it.
With that, in answer to your question, he says, "No, but that's part of the festivities. Come." And he almost like backs off the cliff. This time not falling off, but almost looks like he's like crawling off the edge of the cliff. And he gets down low enough to where his hands, he actually has longer fingers that like dig into the ground. You watch as some of it almost seems to start to give way before he kind of like reaches a little bit further. And he kind of brings his shoulder down low and he says, "Come, I'll give you a ride."
Say less! I just grab myself and I just boom all the way up.
You know, I
I'm
feel like
effectively doing my
Ethan
best.
told him the same
Wait,
thing.
I don't even think if his eye's that big, I don't even think your full jump would get on top of his
No,
head.
I'm saying
So
this is the like acrobatics run. You put a foot on, you grab like a scale or something, and you just launch yourself.
So you're going to attempt to climb him in a very fast and spectacular fashion. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
While he's doing that, I just jump up on his head.
34.
34. Razu, very much so, like an insane professional climber, just jumps up, grabs a scale, and then almost just launches himself up before landing on its head. Gurgle is seemingly very down as Gurgle just kind of... As you land, you're like, oh yeah, that was cool. Then you turn to see Gurgle kind of sitting up there already, looking at you.
I was cooler.
Where are you though?
I insight check.
Go for it.
That's on sketch.
The dragon does have a very obviously mischievous smile.
I did also want to.
You go ahead and
Is
make
the
an
goal
insight check
just
as well.
just to not fall off? Is that the goal?
That should be one.
17.
22.
There's definitely an ulterior motive, but you guys have no idea what it might be. He is all too willing to help, despite how proud red dragons are, and the idea of like letting a human ride one, especially that they just met, is like, this seems
very-
extremely off, and
Now
he is
that-
all too thrilled.
You guys good on your own, right?
Now that
I don't know if you could hold on, Zephyr.
I think I'm gonna go with Kane.
If you concur, Zephyr, I was planning on finding my own way out.
Yes, I think we're gonna find our own way. Feel free to take
No.
off with our friends. Hopefully, we see you too.
now
I
that
pull out a
Great
bag and
dragon,
start
please
snacking on
accept
some
these
jerky.
offerings.
See you at the top.
now that Razu like abandoned Tiku, she like immediately goes into like a bowing position, like low, and she says, oh great, mighty dragon. Can this small god know your name?"
Again, his head now comes down low. To you, Tiku, Razu saw it and he's like, wow, this is a big dragon.
When
to
he
you,
starts to
this
come down,
seems
Tiku starts shaking.
impossibly large. The dragon's eye would seem larger than life to you. And you need to make a charisma saving throw as it looks at you.
Yeah, Tiku's like shaking. She's not making eye contact,
She's
by the
within 10
way.
feet of me. She's immune to.
Right.
That's not what
So
this is.
just making
Okay.
sure.
Just make sure.
Draconic sickness?
Failure.
Do I get
As
any
Tigu
plus
just passes
for you?
the fuck out.
Plus 5.
Yeah, +5.
Is it a saving throw?
Yes.
6.
She has a -1.
Indomitable.
She rolled a 2.
You'd still have his plus 10, though, to saving throws?
Plus 5.
Don't you also have Indomitable?
Wait, that was
With the plus 5.
Oh, no.
Indomitable?
Does it feel hostile or just like a side effect of his nature?
As you bow down to the dragon, and
Because
you
I can use guarded mind if I feel like it's gonna hurt me.
make the decision after this description.
Okay.
as you're kind of like bowing down to him, you can feel your shape shaking, and his eye coming closer. You can even like almost like feel the heat coming off of this dragon, even from its eye itself. As it comes closer, you almost get the feeling that you might start to burn away, to the point that, given a little bit more, like this would actually start to inflict fire damage to you.
Wait, does that mean he's taking fire damage?
No, you guys don't feel this heat. As it gets down, it looks a little bit lower at you. In that moment of panic, your mind seems to go blank, and all you can remember is the roar that you used to hear as a summons back on your island. It was used to call for tribute. You don't know why, but it's the only thing you can think of. And you want to make the roar yourself. Now, do you want to Indomitable Might it?
Yeah, probably.
I'm also going to use a reactive resistance on against fire damage,
Okay.
but
Alright.
not going to move.
Indomitable Might brings it up by how much?
It just succeeds.
Yeah.
Oh, it just
Choose to
succeeds.
succeed.
I just choose to
All
succeed.
right.
It's effectively a legendary resistance.
On intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay. As it starts to focus on you, and your mind almost goes blank, and you almost find yourself roaring. Like I would say, even like your mouth opens. As Tiku just kind of like almost stopping herself, fearing through your Indomitable Might, combined with fearing how this dragon might react to the roar that you're about to make. You kind of like stop, kind of hold your tongue. And he goes, "But of course." And he kind of like brings his head down and actually lays it on the ground next to you, almost seemingly trying to make it as easy as possible for you to climb.
I was asking for
I was gonna say she was
Asking you his name? Not his.
not to
Yeah.
climb on.
I know.
Okay.
He lowered his head. What do you do? I heard what you said.
Seems like you need to go for a ride if you want his name. Probably some light chats while you travel. No, friendly banter. I feel like your response was like, yes, very friendly banter.
He doesn't, but his smile again returns, and he turns his head, still on the ground, but he turns it to just so that you can better see into his mouth. And as he opens up his maw, your immediate thought would be that he's going to eat you. And then as you kind of like almost like cower down a little bit, he just kind of stays. You look up, you can see that same almost like lava-like drool kind of spilling into the ground. And you can see in his tooth, it seems that someone has engraved in Draconic a word that Tiku can't read into the side of his tooth.
I would.
Is it a
Be
type
right
of
next
food
to it.
or a measurement?
Is it food or a measurement? I can read those.
No. It says Lorthun.
I don't know what that means.
Kane said that he read it, so he would be the one who would actually tell you.
Since I know Tiku cannot read, I will give a slight bow, and I will say, "The honor is ours, great Lorthun. I am Kane, future son of Olavel."
Very future son.
Kind of like picks his head back up.
Kiku's gonna be.
This time he actually completely lifts his head off the ground. And as you in your like almost like petrified state, as you like kind of start to look up, you look and there's like a hole in the ground where his drool had hit next to you and just burned into the soil.
Don't move. It's fine. Don't.
As you announce yourself as the son of Orlavel, he says, "The gold one." Like picks his head and he says, "No one else then." And at this point, he almost like climbs back up the cliff, again, reminding you of the sheer stature of this dragon as it towers over the rest of you. And he says, "Are you all sure?"
Clay, did you jump on?
No, the only
No,
two
I
that
didn't
have jumped
think so.
on are these
Okay.
two.
By the way, if he drops us off to fight another dragon as part of this celebration, because I have no idea what the celebration is, just know we'll be dead before you guys get to us.
Before you go,
Kane.
before you go, like what direction do you suggest us to start walking in?
He just looks
Can I-
down towards,
was planning to
almost
follow
down
him.
into the canyon. He says, If you wish to partake in festivities, you must start at the bottom. As all do.
Oh, great.
Can I?
I think I know what this is going to be.
You're just flying us to the
So,
bottom?
really
I thought
quick.
we were going up.
Oh, we are.
Wait. Where are we?
And he would take off at that point in response to that. I need both of you to make another athletic check to hold on, just so you know the DC is 25.
I mean, that's easy for me.
I just letting you know.
Do I think girl can do it?
Well, I was debating, but I wanted to.
I
make an
can.
insight check
I
first.
actually have a really good athletics
And I also
check,
wanna
but
know
I
about
rolled
Dragon
really
Lore.
poorly.
So first off,
What would you say the minus is to help him?
how confident is Razu?
Okay.
How do you
The,
feel?
the minus is whatever you want to give him.
I would say that's accurate, but you can't hear his roll.
All right, I'm not listening to your roll.
And you can't. You, have to decide before you
determine
roll
how much
too.
you're helping him now.
And you have to decide
Before
before
you
you
get a
roll.
+5, which means I get a +12.
Okay, what were you saying, Tiku?
I wanted to know a bit about dragon lore. So, like, when someone gives you their name like that, what does that typically represent when a dragon will give you their name?
Make a history check.
Has Tiku ever heard of anything like this?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna have Malluth grab Zephyr and Clay, and then we would start
Technical
following.
mind.
14.
Just by flying.
Fighter. Because I was pretty sure I was going to fail. I had the real tactical mind. I rolled really, really shit.
Well, I
He
hope
gave you a
the
+5.
+5 saved you, because that's...
I did. It did.
Because I'm chilling.
I need your history check first.
14.
Yeah.
14?
I would have failed if I didn't have the +5.
While you don't know the significance of it,
I rolled
you
8
know
with advantage.
that. So, like, the reason that Tiku and her
It's rough.
clan would refer to dragons by almost like more of like honorifics, referring to them as a dragon or as like master
Lord,
or
master,
lord,
yeah.
anything like that, isn't because they like out of fear they wanted to call him a title. It's because the green and gold dragon that you know would never give you their names. In fact, you only know of one instance of a kobold friend asking for a name, and it was the last question that he asked.
And he died.
Yes, he asked the green dragon for its name, and it killed him. Ate him, specifically. And then asked if anyone else had any questions. So, what the significance of it is, you don't know, but you do know that dragons do not give out their names.
And then can I do an insight check on just his general, the feel I'm getting from this thing? Like,
Like, does he think I'm just like food for later?
food, like he's doing an order. Like,
Doing an order. Like,
Are we at Uber Eats?
if he's got like
is he
a
following orders?
like a
Is he-
spike, if he's got like a spike or a horn, I'm using my stickiness to stick to it, and then I'm wrapping my whip around it like a lasso.
So,
20.
he actually has two rows. Think like almost like the spikes that Godzilla has, but rather than the 3 prongs, take out the middle one. He's got 2 rows of spikes that kind of run down in a V down his spine, going all the way down from his tail.
Yeah, I just wrap around one at the front, and then I'm like standing straight up, and then like feet stuck to the floor with my sticky feet. I'm like,
you
I would
would
say-
be very, very concerned for your life.
As I would say, he like goes a
No, it's
little
like a
bit
roller.
up, and like he's
No, it's
attached
like
to the whip, and he just starts floating up,
see
and I just put him back down.
I'm like a roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster.
And then, so that was 22, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So he has a profound interest in you. In fact, as you kind of like, in that moment where you thought about roaring, this is kind of where I'm going to say Tiku almost like comes to this realization. Tiku realizes that despite the fact that it brought its head down to Razu, hard to see, but the slight variation, it was looking at you.
It wants to eat me. No, I don't know what he wants.
Whether or not it's acting
What
on
does he want?
orders or anything like that, you don't know. The only thing that you do know is the dragon seems to have a profound interest in Tiku.
And I've never seen a red dragon this big before.
You've never seen a dragon this big before.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe the black dragon. They're like contender with
He's
each other.
also never seen a kobold this big before either, so you're both having new experiences today.
So that is what you would have. And then I think from what I was hearing, you guys both passed the 25. 28, and then...
I also got 28, actually, with his +5.
So as you kind of like would wrap your whip around, you actually do almost like start to go up a little bit, especially because these, even just the spikes on this would be like 8 to 10 feet long for each of these different spikes that go down its head. So you're like, your whip's like loosely wrapped around what is a massive spike. As you're kind of like holding on, feet planted, almost like someone trying to waveboard. You almost like start to go up a little bit. Your whip's still there as Razu has gotten a good grip on the other spike of this. He kind of just like grabs your foot and just kind of brings you back down. And with that, you do start to fly up. Despite the fact that he had told you to start at the bottom, you start to fly up and towards Lone Peak, almost a little bit at an angle.
Hey, Rastu! If we fall off, I have feather fall. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I have it too. I was prepared.
As in a rapid speed, you fly towards Lone Peak. Not towards the actual peak, the precipice by any means, but almost more so, effectively what would be like 400 or 500 feet up from the base of the canyon. There is a larger open cave that is open in the side of this of Lone Peak, and as you get a little bit closer, you notice there's definitely multiple different caves, some of which appear to be like just big enough that maybe like one dragon could be in them. One of them looks almost like it looks massive, like almost like a massive hangar, and you can see a multitude of dragons that are both perched on the sides of it, almost kind of like looking down at the festivities below, and even going back into it a little bit. You see dragons that seem to be resting, and this particular opening is probably like a mile long. Also giving you an idea of the size of Lone Peak, as Lone Peak itself is absolutely massive. With that, you start off flying towards one of the almost singular entrances, and then you would hear almost a low yet high-pitched that
While we're flying?
It's a little
over the course of, over the wind, over everything, it almost seems to just be ever present. You guys would hear it too.
Us on the
in
ground?
response to that, the red dragon kind of and just veers and goes towards that almost like open like hangar like area, seemingly frustrated as it kind of like lands on the edge of the hangar.
I think you guys were going to be sitting there. I'm just saying.
There's two separate what appears to be humanoids. One of which has yellow, almost like reptilian-like skin, and no nose on their face. Just what appears to be, so they have their mouth and 2 eyes, no eyebrows, no hair. The reptilian skin, despite what is bald, it's almost like there's almost like scales that are flaking off them. It almost looks like severe dandruff that is scaled in nature, as this individual's almost skin seems to be flailing off, this yellow reptilian skin. The individual to the left of it appears to be just a regular elf, a wood elf in terms of the actual look. They have almost vines, what it looks like, wrapped about them that they almost seem to be using like lace, covering up the majority of their body, although under the vines they are evidently naked. The vines are thick enough that they cover most of it. One might say the naughty bits of this female elf, but other than that, doesn't seem to be wearing anything else. As the red dragon lands and it says, "Seems you get to go with them." As it very clearly seems disappointed. And the wood elf kind of like walks up to the red dragon, almost to his foot, and she like with the back of her hand just reaches out and slaps the top of his foot. She's like, "You'll know better. These are, I believe, they're marked guests, actually." Well, that was unexpected. Even still, the king called for no funny business. Now, go, shoo. Red dragon, seemingly upset at these orders, kind of like almost like leans down, almost seemingly dumping the two of you off onto the floor near these two people.
Do you
I'm not
think it exists in
acrobatic.
your world?
I'm an acrobatic flip off of it.
Make a history check.
21?
You don't know of a race called Githyanki.
Do I know of a race that is Githyanki as I know it,
No.
but called something else?
Do they know the gifts are right?
The answer is any kind of like dragon rider, anything like that. Those are like stories of like heroes. Dragons are rare enough, like they exist very much so, but dragons are a rare enough occurrence that the idea of someone riding a dragon, which would be known to be one of the most proud species to walk all of Cantifar. There's stories.
What do you say?
So you
With
know
a
of
21,
stories
Do I
of
know of a
what you consider.
story of a race that no one's seen?
Do not know a story of a race. It would be more so stories of individuals,
Just
of dragon
riding.
riders. It would, again, and as far as you know stories of dragon riders. You're sure it's happened, but that's about
it just
as far
happened.
as it goes.
So,
I just was, as we were taking off, I would want to look back towards the fight to see who won at this point, because it's been long enough, I feel.
The black dragon is, so its head would be laying on the ground. It is not unconscious, but it is very clearly pissed. And the silver dragon is laying on the back of its neck, just below its head, almost like with its elbows so its front legs. It has bent, and it's kind of like has them put together, almost like fingers clasped, laying on its neck. And despite the fact that you would not be able to hear it from this distance, you can see with like the tilt of its head, it seems to be talking to the black dragon. It's clear that he's almost like talking down to him. Hard to know if it's like reprimanding or
I feel like he's just like sitting there, like giving him pointers for the next fight.
who knows?
Expanding on the history check from before, do I know of any humanoid fighting style martial arts that this dragon is using?
You make another history check. This is gonna be hard.
one might say open palm technique.
18.
18. It very clearly would remind you of like monk, of like it almost seems the best examples that you would have would be between like open palm style and drunken fist, for the way that it moved and how awkward it seemed.
But still,
It's
weird
like
that a
it took
dragon
one of
could do it.
those and somehow implemented it to a dragon's body, which again looks alien, if at best, for how it actually functions and appears. However, seems fairly good as he seems to be ridiculing and laughing at the ancient black dragon that he is leaning on.
Do you yield?
So, do you think they're dead?
What do you mean by, oh. No. Maybe? No. I'm gonna go with no.
Should we go to the bottom?
No. I do believe that he is taking them to the right location. He's just going to mess with them a little bit.
So we should just go to the bottom and meet them there.
No. I believe this is the correct way.
What is the correct way? Not to get confused.
So
Going down or up?
he would effectively, what he posed earlier that I don't think anyone else caught, is
have
he was
to
going to
start
have
at the
Malreth pick up you guys, and he was going to follow the red dragon.
We're currently flying, following.
I haven't
Well,
gone yet.
that depends on whether or not they would want to.
We're just watching them fly off. I'm like, oh, they're dead.
I'm just waiting for
I figured we were just following him.
Well, it depends. Do you guys? So this effectively Keen would propose.
So where is this down? I'm not quite sure.
Dead.
So there
Down
is
into the
there
ant
is
hive.
paths
Down
in the
is down
sides
into the
of
canyon.
all of the canyon. Like even not but 20 feet from where you are right now, there's almost what looks again like an ant tunnel, like a human-sized ant tunnel that digs down to the rock that you could follow to go down to the base of this canyon.
Yeah, I don't think we go with him. I think we're going to get destroyed if we go up there. I'm pretty sure the idea is that you work your way up the ladder, and the higher you go, the stronger the beings will be.
Can I do... I don't know what kind of check. So, while we're not technically... Orlevale is not technically the one who brought us here. He is the one who invited us here. So that does give us extremely special permissions.
Didn't he teleport?
That depends
us up
on
here?
how much you trust Orlevale. The answer is, effectively by Orlevale inviting you, he's staked himself on you to where if people were to come after you, Orlevale could then come after them. So if the dragon feared Orlevale, they probably wouldn't mess with you. If they don't fear Orlevale, they would feel no reservation about messing with you.
If anything, they would use it as an excuse to fight him.
Or to mess with us because we are with him by proxy, yeah.
Your hands.
It's fine.
Oreo camera down.
One of our cameras just fell. It's fine. We don't need to worry about it. That's the battle cam.
Your answer, Zephyr. I am a member of the Golden Scales. I will not go to the bottom. You may if you wish. And with that,
Okay, I go to the bottom.
How far
Arrows
down is
full
the bottom?
Again, it's about 300 feet.
Oh, it's not too bad.
Yeah. I just
No, when he said like specs, I thought the bottom was like.
I think it's just because we were
just-
walking towards it and it was
okay.
far away.
And I'm
Yeah,
just gonna start going.
This is just explaining it as you came a little bit closer.
Wait, didn't we
to
already start at the bottom though? Then because we'd already been walking up for like
No,
a mile.
because we're kind of like ground level. Think of that as like below
300
ground
feet
level,
below
and then
ground
there's the
level.
mountain that goes above ground level.
So we've been walking on just
We're walking
purely
ground
straight
level.
ground.
There is a moat
plain?
Well,
surrounding
plain.
this
Yeah.
mountain.
It's like a moat, but rather than being filled with water, it's just an empty canyon that surrounds Lone Peak. And Lone Peak is like a... So Lone Peak would be like height-wise, just to give you example-wise, if you include from the base, you're looking at about like a 2 mile tall mountain. And then its width is much more impressive. It is at an angle, almost again, think like just the part of like Pride Rock that kind of juts out from the side without the peak going straight up. It's just that, where it kind of comes out from one part and then juts out over, and it goes past the canyon, and then like, and just hangs over even like a large portion of the plain. That section of it is like 3 miles long. This is a massive, massive mountain. It is almost like a mountain range itself.
Okay. So before I go away, I do say I'm just gonna go to the bottom. I hand you 3 paper birds. Like, contact me if you need it, and I'm going.
He goes,
Currently in dragon form.
I
guess I hold
follow-
them in my teeth.
I follow.
I mean, they're
Zephyr.
magical.
Well, you can
I'm going with
you-
Kane. Kane
Well-
takes off. I'm going with Zephyr.
I mean, Malrith is.
Yeah, he left Malrith for
Yeah, you
whoever
can jump
wanted.
on Malrith if you wanted to.
Well,
Although
Malrith
you could
going
give
down?
it to Clay.
No,
Clay's
Malrith's coming with me.
He's
Malrith.
going with.
No, I'm going down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
you're
just
going
walking.
down.
Then Malrith would come with me.
Tiku, you coming?
You're walking? Go ahead, Tiku. You had your hand raised. What do you want to do? Or say?
Zephyr's already started walking. And Valor's still like.
Did anybody else notice that he kept looking at me?
Tiku.
Yes.
They're looking at all of us. We're bite-sized next to them. Now let's get
I mean,
going.
we're not even bite sized. We're more like
It depends on
we're like
the dragon.
crumbs.
We're like an M&M.
Mini M&Ms.
Oh boy.
Okay, he follows them
Imagine.
down low, I guess.
Gushers,
Can't let the
but like M&M's.
can't let the healer and the mage go by themselves.
Fire.
When they go down the.
So Tiku's going down. You two are on the dragon, and then you're following.
Yeah.
And Malrith would be following shortly after you, just based on decisions that were made.
We split the
Player
party. What could
Kayla
possibly
cannot
go
let
wrong?
the healer and the wizard go by
He's a
themselves.
paladin, to be fair.
Okay, so as you guys start to head down, first thing I'll note is you three start to descend these almost again like human-sized ant tunnels that seem to kind of go down, and they're fairly steep to the point where like you'd be almost like slipping and sliding if not for these almost like footfalls that have been dug out. It's almost more of like you've got like a staircase that's cut out of mud, that's been cut into the earth rather than built onto it.
So, Tiku, how are you doing?
Fine, totally fine.
You seem a little shaken.
Did you see how many dragons are up there?
Yeah, there's a lot. Haven't you been around dragons like your whole life?
Just two.
By the way,
Just two.
what was it showing you? It was like showing its teeth to you.
Oh, it had some writing on it.
Oh. What'd it say? Oh, sorry. Probably wasn't an ingredient or measurement. We need to work on that, by the way.
It was pretty scribbles.
Pretty scribbles, okay. So...
But Kane said that it said Lorthu.
I have no idea what that means.
It's a name.
Oh, okay.
I
He
think.
gave you a name. Well, that's nice. So you made a friend.
As Tiku kind of like stumbles on it, you guys getting a little bit closer. The sounds, the wind
Tiku's
being
just gonna glide
closer.
down. Like use
Sorry,
her
what?
wing. Tiku's just using her wings to glide down and not really hitting the footfalls.
Sir, as you guys continue to descend down, as the sounds of dragons roaring, the winds that would be going across the plains start to die down, you start to hear music playing.
Oh, this is much better than being
Maybe
above
we didn't
ground.
pick the right choice.
The music is almost, again, as you continue to descend, the music is met by the sounds of laughter, of what sounds to almost be celebration, people yelling, criers calling out different, even on the higher levels before you get to the ground, you have people that for the few almost platforms that have been made, you kind of go down the stairs and you see there's a half orc that is holding up a piece of paper that's obviously still way too high for the individuals far below to actually be able to read. But he calls out and says, "The Dragon War, the news, everyone, the Dragon War, the gods, they fall at the end of the week. Don't forget to miss the celebration. A god to be dispatched, example to be made. The Dragon Wars, as he runs
Don't
down.
forget to miss the
Is
celebration.
Buddy, what are you doing,
like,
selling
is
tickets?
Amanda like handing out pamphlets?
No, so he's like on a platform, almost think like a pope
Okay.
talking down.
Okay, I was
he's
wondering
just
if he's holding
yelling
He's
down.
just yelling the news.
So this is still like 100 feet above, but even that 100 feet down,
Stuff, I take one.
as you, if you want, you can stop. He does have a pile of
Oh yeah,
papers
yeah.
near
That's what I was
him.
wondering. Yeah.
As you guys come onto the platform, and he's like, the Dragon Wars, oh, company. As he turns around, and as he turns around and looks at you, you guys also notice as you kind of like just to like make sure you're looking at you kind of look back, and you see there's a couple of people that have come up from the bottom. There's a group that appears to be mostly humans. There's like 3 humans, an elf, and what appears to be 2 dwarves with you as well. As they kind of like look at the dwarf, kind of looking at you, and he says, "Aye, seems that there is other people who are interested in the celebrations. Good to hear it. Good to hear it.
Oh, yes,
Where are
send us to the-
where are the pamphlets?" And the half orc runs over and he says, "Yes, Dragon Wars, only a copper apiece." And he picks up just a stack of papers, and each of them kind of pull coins from their pockets and hand him the coppers, and then he pulls a pamphlet, turning to you as well, and he says, and kind of has his other hand proffered for the copper.
I don't
that he's
carry.
asking for.
I don't carry anything as low as copper.
Do you give him something else?
No, it's only
just-
worth a copper.
I just hand him a copper.
So I reach my
He-
hand out for it to offer.
He hands you the piece of paper, and then he says,
If it's only worth a copper, it's worth nothing. Copper's worth nothing.
"It's worth my food for today. So I wish you the best of luck. Perhaps you can
All right.
share with your friend." Turns to you, Tiku, and he says, "Do you wish for one as well, or do you all plan to share?"
It's just scribbles to me.
Well,
I see.
She just likes the pictures.
Of course,
doesn't
of course.
have
The
any
Dragon
picture.
Wars, the Dragon Wars, as he runs to the other side
Keep
of
up the good work.
this platform,
Tiku already
just
looked.
calling out.
Dragon Wars.
Despite the fact that he seemed fairly stingy about giving it to you, he kind of like runs in enough of a hurry that like some of the papers kind of like slip out from under his arm as my music stopped. As he kind of like runs to the other side, and you also notice you didn't quite see him as you were walking down the stairs, but there's like 4 or 5 other individuals that are also calling out off of this almost like larger podium platform that seem to be calling out, and there's like decently sized groups down below that seem to be trying to almost pay attention to him. Some of us kind of like look up and pay attention, then go back to what they're doing. The other thing you notice is as you're getting ready to go down a little bit further, the stalls, there's many different stalls. There seems to be games that are being played. You see, even not too far from you, you see what appears to be effectively a variation of cornhole, You have an individual who seems to be holding what appears to just be larger rocks they've collected from the area, throwing them into 3 separate holes. Different people calling out for rewards, for celebrations, for food. The smell would start to entice you as well, Tiku, as both familiar smells as well as what is more hearty meats, more fragrantly spiced food than you would find anywhere apart from what you yourself typically do.
So are we still walking towards it, or are we now amongst the...
No, so you guys are still descending down. This is just kind of like the feeling that you start to get. Flyer now collected. Yeah, I assume you guys continue. You go back to the stairs and again elect to descend. As you guys as you reach the basin of this canyon, there's what appears to be a dragonborn and a human. The dragonborn appears to be, he's either at first you think it's a silver dragonborn child. Although upon looking at the features of his face, almost like the wrinkled and the wear and tear on the scales, he actually, unlike most dragonborn, appears to have hair growing from his chin rather than your typical almost like scaled spikes that would be a beard. He actually seems to have a beard that grows from his face. And as this dragonborn child comes up, you're met with what is a more so gruff, "New guests, have you ever been to the festival before?" As what is actually evidently a midget dragonborn now approaches you. Now tell me, do you need a guide? I'm very familiar with the festival. I could show you all the attractions, the celebrations, or perhaps the conquest. You look like a hearty bunch. The conquest surely is what you are interested in, yes?
How much you charging?
Not but a silver for the whole day's travel, a guide for as far as you might need.
See, now that has value.
I give him a gold.
He takes it. We will see everything then. He turns and he says, "Oh, come!" And as he calls out, you notice that. So he's wearing almost like a cloak, and as his cloak kind of like flaps back a little bit with the wind, he pulls what is a larger lute from his back and starts to play the lute.
Trinity's in today's economy. He's got a $20 bill. and we just went back in time, back to the early 1900s.
Take off your hat.
and they're selling a loaf of bread for a freaking dime. And he pulls out a $20 bill and he's like, "Here you go." And he's like,
Turns around, slaps his manager. "I'm making my own bakery."
With that, this midget dragonborn starts to play his lute and starts to sing a song about a dragon festival, a king and a challenge, one looking to usurp and one looking to keep his throne. As we're going to go back to you guys up top.
Sorry, real quick. What's my pamphlet? What's the whole thing say?
Oh, yes, I can say that as well.
It. I'm like, that's why I'm like, just take the gold. Let's just go.
Okay, the pamphlet is written in common, seemingly trying to make it as accessible for everyone as possible. A lot of it is actually pictures, funnily enough, as the ability to read wouldn't be too prevalent. But this is also like a pamphlet. It's like almost more of like a poster that he's given you that was kind of rolled up. As you kind of like unfurl it and start to read it, you see a picture of what appears, you saw this symbol in a different way. You see a dragon that has the I suddenly forget what it's called, pocket watch. So you see the dragon that seems to be leaning over the pocket watch again, but this one is much more colored. It seems to have whites, silvers. The dragon itself is mostly white for its scales, but almost has like silver streaks through it, like precious stones, like veins of precious stones in a mine. Its eyes seem to be glistening. Oh, they almost look like glistening gemstones, almost to the point like where its diamond eyes might just be a little bit of an exaggeration in the picture to make him look a little bit more extravagant. But as he's leaning over the pocket watch, he seems to be almost on the precipice of what appears to be an iteration of Lone Peak. He's drawn on the poster itself. He would only be about this big, still given the gravity of Lone Peak. And you just see dragons that seem to be flying in almost like a half circle below him, despite their flying very clearly, heads lowered in a bow. But then you see what appears to be a large black dragon, bigger than the dragon king that seems to be sitting on the top, that is almost looking up, crying out in a defiant roar. Below it says, "The Dragon King finally challenged. Who will win? Does our savior continue, or does doom take us all? And then below that, effectively in like fine print, it basically gives a location where you can watch the fight.
I flipped to like the very back page, and I feel like there's just like ads for like restaurants. Like, oh, Piku, we should start a restaurant here if we have enough time.
When's the fight?
The fight is a week from now.
But end of the week is when the gods are supposed to die?
So from what that man was just calling out, he said at the end of the celebration, we get to watch.
One of the
we
gods
get to
die?
watch. We get to watch the end of a god.
The end of a god. Okay.
So, other than that, and this random carrier just calling out what is going on, you're not entirely sure what this celebration is, what this god dying is. This would all be new information to Tiku for sure. Okay.
What's your name?
How much money did you give Orlavale?
All of it.
How much was it?
It was like 70 plat. I think.
Oh yeah, it was a lot.
Like 70 plat.
70 plat and like.
I'm just starting to think, like, with inflation, like, that plaque could have been worth a lot in today's age.
For you, Tiku, but real quick before I go to them, as you call out to this Dragonborn player, and he says, "Oh, apologies, my name is Zorion. The pleasure is mine." As he bows down low to you, continuing to play his lute, and effectively, this is actually where I'll leave off from you guys, as he would take you to your first attraction, which in this case, the attraction that he would be taking you to is a gallows. As you would come to it, and as he kind of comes in, he says, "Now, first off, the thing we must show everyone, what happens if you break the rules?"
we show up. I got lost in the pamphlet, and I'm like looking. I'm like, oh shit, what did we do wrong?
Geez, someone's neck just like.
To the point that, like, as you guys come up, and he says, "Now, first, we must show you what happens if you do not follow the rules." And he gestures up. You see what appears to be a human. He says, kind of like looking out over the crowd, and he says, "I really wish you'd all be a little bit smarter," as he pulls the lever, and 4 separate people drop on the gallows. And he says, "Now, on to the rest." And that is for sure where we're going to go to these 2, and then you'll be in there shortly after.
So she's like, where did we just come?
Like looking for the bat, like.
Just be like, should have gotten the dragon.
I thought we were going to eat.
For Razu, Gurgle, and soon to be Kane, you'd be landing just shortly after this. This wood elf comes to you and she says, "So I'm very sorry. They are territorial, to say the least, and you bear the sense of challenge to some of them. But no worries, no worries. The dragon god has deemed everyone safe in the dragon festival. They know better than to truly, eat you. I imagine he was simply going to give you a little bit of a scare, perhaps try and get you to switch your mark, your allegiance. But again, no worries there. Now, tell me, sorry, let me start over. Why are you here?
We are here because we're invited by Orlavale.
Orlavale,
Golden Dragon.
She
Younger.
turns and almost seems to be gesturing to the individual with her, and he just pulls out what appears to be a ledger, kind of like pulls down a spectacle over one eye, just to flip through it. Yes, the jester of, he comes from,
That makes Trinity happy.
he has 2 separate names. It says he's both originally from Stilmacar, but also a resident of the plains. He's on the inner circle. And she goes, okay. Caught up now. So your guess, yes, fine. Do you simply wish to participate in the festival, or are you looking to join for the show?
I don't even know.
I would then point at him landing on his freaking dragon form.
So at this point, we're going to say Kane lands next to you, and she goes, no. Close though. All right, it seems that you're the leader of this motley lot, and please, I am in a hurry. As she looks over, and
Whoa! Time out. He joined later.
you see, as she looks over, she seems to be looking
It's just
over.
his fever dream.
She seems to be looking over at an orange dragon. The orange dragon seems to be almost like kind of, again, leaned a little bit low, having a conversation with 3 or 4 separate individuals. What appears to be a giant, a bugbear, an orc, and then a human. That all seems to be talking to this orange dragon. She says, I can't imagine that's going well. Okay, sorry, please, hurry. What is it you're looking to do here?
So before you do that, like I wanted when he was tilting his head to like throw us off, I wanted to do an acrobatic flip onto the ground, and I rolled a 21.
I
So
can say you did it.
I was like sliding off, and then I jumped, and then aerialed, and then backflipped off of him.
So I'm gonna go for a more barbaric approach, and just like as he's doing it, jump off and just land like handle on the legs, like firm.
He's trying to crack
Your
the ground
shins
underneath him.
hurt. Like
That's
you
like
do
it's
it,
like a 15
but like
foot drop.
Yeah, like you just dropped, like to the point that
I acrobatics rolled that when I hit. I
You-
backflipped
so,
off and then
to the point that if you're
Are
just
you doing-
jumping off,
you're doing knees
Oh
hit?
my goodness! Okay, so you're looking at
It's a D6
26 points of bludgeoning damage as you hit, and you just feel it surge through your shins.
Can we stick the landing?
He could, because he actually did acrobatics. You told me how you landed.
Yeah, but like I landed, I stay firm. It hurt, but I stay firm.
Yeah,
Oh, so you want to like not collapse or buckle? Yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna say athletics for this instead of acrobatics.
Completely like
Athletics
Chad,
for sure.
light work,
he's
no
trying
reaction.
to Superman this without the punch.
Without the punch, yeah.
Superhero landing. Superhero landing.
You say athletics check?
This is gonna be athletics because you're not trying to like do a fancy land. You're just literally just trying to.
I did Kenku recall on the other one. I don't get it on this one. 31.
It hurts like hell. Like, you know when you have something happen, someone's like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, "Yeah." And there's like your eye gets glossy. That's what Razu just did. Is he kind of
Get back in there, Tier.
I just
He like sucks it in.
Light work, no reaction.
with that, going back to the conversation at hand, where she had asked you.
So I do apologize. It's been a week. He gave us permission to join or to watch the festival or the Veil specifically.
He invited you to join the festival.
Okay.
I also kind of wanted to ask her to.
You're there.
Kind of like
Ask
as
her.
he's coming in, as he's coming in before he actually asked that. I was like, so like we're new here. What's the performance?
What do you mean? What is the performance? There's many different performances. It's a festival. What do you perform? That is the better question. And this is actually where I will transition into you arriving. She says, "You're the leader, supposedly. Do your performers then? What are you looking to perform?"
No, we have been invited by Olivale to join the festival.
Join by the festival.
I feel like join is very vague.
Oh! You're looking to participate in the conquest. Oh, that makes things entirely more simple.
Oh,
okay,
really?
first of all, we need to get you signed in. Come.
I just look
The
at
individual
girl like,
with her walks
Conquest.
over with the
this-
ledger,
is this the-
and he turns the ledger towards her. And under Orlavale, there's some blank spaces, and she goes, "Ah, the first, really? Surely I thought that someone in the inner circle would have already had their members, but no worries. She kind of starts to write. She says, "Now,
Hold the
please,
phone.
Well, did we
I
just
need your
get-
names.
did
I need
we
your
just-
names."
Razu, first one, baby.
All right.
Fuck you.
Did we just get used
Starts to fight it out.
Did we just get used by this Orlavale guy to bail him out because he had nobody working for him?
Doesn't matter. We're already here.
Names again. I'm in a hurry, please.
Oh, wait, is this the silver dragon that was a
We also have
No.
three.
open hand fighter?
We have three.
Is this the one that was landing on the black dragon?
Doesn't. No.
Different
We'll say that
person.
Kane has the intrusive thought. As you look back, even from this distance, you can still see. The only thing that's different is now the silver dragon is on top of the black dragon.
Well, we can see that far away.
Like laying on his stomach, kicking
I do
his
have a very
legs
high
up.
perception.
He's like it full is it. You know
I feel like
the.
that's like eagle vision.
Is this a
The-
dude or cheetah?
The interpretation you get is that like a schoolgirl that just beat the fuck out of a martial artist and is like laughing at him, laying on him. That's the kind
Cheetah or
of.
dude?
Yeah, dude. Okay,
Silver dragon? You have no idea.
Can you tell gender fairly easy?
Make a nature check. I'll see if you figured it out when you were looking at him.
when he had his hands up, did you
That'd be the
see the special square? You know.
By the way, We have 3 other members that aren't
What do
here.
dragons have? Dragons are like dinosaurs, so they turn into birds. Does that mean they also have cloacas?
10 and
13.
13. You don't know.
You're too scared to like.
You're confident the
gender
black
bend
dragon's a
out.
male. But this silver dragon, again, not only are you like, is that male or female? You're like, is that a dragon? Like, it looks like a dragon, but
It moves.
It moves really, really weird. With that, back to the occasion at hand, as she continues to call out, Kane, yes, and you, name, please.
My name's Gurgle.
Gurgle, wonderful. Any other members of your party?
There's 3 others.
3 others. All right,
Zephyr.
names? Zephyr,
Clay.
Clay,
We're getting signed
Indigo. All right, wonderful. Any others? Clay beats it.
He prefers the full name.
Malrith as well.
He already moved it. And then she kind of like reaches out. The individual pulls what appears to be a small stone. She grabs it and kind of rubs it across the paper, almost smearing a little bit of this black ink across it. She kind of like moves her hand on it. It's not the best job. Almost like when you take a pen and you just lick your finger to wipe it off. And then she writes Beekman over it. And she goes, yes, Clay Beekman. Yes, perfect. Okay.
Malrith as well.
Malrith. All right. We have 7 members for the conquest. That would put you... All right, wonderful. That simply means Station 6, bottom of the peak. I believe that would be this evening, yes? That is correct, madam. Perfect. Station 6, bottom of Lone Peak. You said you're a little bit new here. She walks up to the edge, precariously close, actually, even a little bit of a reservation when it comes to heights. She walks up to the edge, leans over, and she goes, Station 6 is going to be just about here. As she effectively just points to a section of the base.
It is.
And she goes, again, this evening, presumably around first dusk. With that, I believe that's everything I need for you.
How far away is that?
First dusk. You were still earlier in the day. You have perhaps 6 hours.
I would go over to the guy with the scroll.
Sorry, you got me very curious. What are you?
Turns and looks at you.
That organizer.
Racially speaking,
That's not a good question to ask.
I've never seen one of your race.
You see him actually starting to go through different, almost different emotions on his face. He goes, and he turns to the girl and he says, "Pay him no mind. Sorry. We reserve the right to answer questions for winners. All right, we must go." And they turn and they
Wait.
start to walk
How
away.
about this one, though? Is there any way that I can, any, forges that I can play around in?
Of course there's forages. This is the Dragon Festival. Just go down. I question your sanity for jumping on the back of a red dragon in the middle of the Dragon Festival. You don't know what's going... You're all going to die. As she, at this point, just continues to
Probably.
walk towards the orange dragon.
So it's down?
Yes! Now, you stop messing...
I would also just run up and jump off.
As Gurgle and Razu just both... and just go and just running jump.
Free
Take off.
We're
free falling, and
freestyle.
anytime I'm about to
Squirrel suit
hit a
without
certain
squirrel
part
suit.
that's not where
guys-
we're trying to land, I'll jump off the walls
I'm just hearing,
to get to where I'll land on.
They're all doing it to Freebird in the background.
The last thing you guys would hear, and you guys would actually hear her call this out as she's running towards the orange dragon.
I forgot.
So the last thing you would hear, 'cause I don't think you heard me, you hear her just yell out, "Gralzapar, I told you to stop soliciting!" As she runs over towards it. What are you doing?
I guess I will slowly follow them, a lot more subdued.
As Kane more so starts to fly down.
As she turns around, and be, "Oh, I forgot. Magic doesn't work here." Me being her
Now stick the landing.
And you just try to hit everything on
That's
the way
right.
down.
That's why you start drifting towards the mountain and you start trying to bounce it off and
Yeah, and roll.
just try to break your fall as much as you can.
Okay, with that, we get to go back to the gallows. As he again calls out, "First, we must show you what doesn't happen. What happens if you don't follow the rules."
Oh, that would be a nice place to eat.
As they drop, he says, "Now, I would to the point that I would even say the sound of them hitting that snap
So,
is what kind of draws your attention."
I think
What
I
did
lost
they
my
do?
appetite.
This is, okay, so this one stole from one of the dragon hordes.
Okay.
This one was found cheating in that game as he points over to what appears to be like rock climbing.
How do you cheat at rock climbing?
The rock climbing has blades that seem to be, so there's like cutouts in the rock and blades seem to be cutting across.
Okay, yeah,
and that's
but
what
how do
they're
you
dodging.
cheat at that?
And this is, in his case, I believe that he had one of his friends tamper with the mechanisms controlling the blades, and he was close. It was almost good enough, but it wasn't, because just a note for you as he gestures up, just almost like towards the peak or towards Lone Peak. You guys kind of following his gaze. You see cutouts in Lone Peak, or not even cutouts. Again, more of like caves. There are dozens of dragons that are just almost like watchmen or gargoyles, is almost the impression you get, that are just scrutinizing this festival. They're looking about it, and periodically...
Referees.
Yes, of course. In fact, it's fairly frequent. Just give it a minute. As almost probably like 7 or 8 dragons almost down the line, you watch as almost like a beam of glistening white energy just kind of. Perfect. There you go. And now he points to another platform, and you can see there is almost appears there's like mounts. Think like torture racks where you get mounted to like a cross, and an individual just appears in one of them, locked in chains. As he says, and now another fun game. And then you just see knives just start going, bring, bring, and then one just into the torso of the individual. They open their mouth to scream, but you can't hear anything.
So,
as the sound seems to be muffled, and he says, "Yes, and don't worry, it doesn't interrupt the celebrations. In fact, it's quite tied in. In fact, he won this as an award." As you see the human that just pulled the lever, initially thought to be a guard, jumps down and starts playing in a game with a broad smile across his face.
So
very clearly evil.
First few knives meant to miss?
Oh no, they're just bad at the game. In fact, I imagine that they had to pay a hefty toll. Depending on how you participate, sometimes if you win, your game entry can be free. So, I recommend you win all your do your best. As you can see that he kind of like looked down at the gold coin, and there's a sudden hint of him hoping that you lose some games, maybe to give you hints or to help you along in the games.
So what happens to the loser, to these cheaters' belongings?
Oh, they're of course taken to the Dragon's Hoard. Whoever spots the mistake or the cheat, they get to claim whatever they have as their own hoard. That is why they participate themselves.
So if we were playing the game and I was cheated against, I would get no recourse?
You would get no recourse.
Just the knowledge that the cheater has been punished?
No, yes, and you would get whatever you proffered forth in the game would be returned to you. The dragons do not take rewards from each of you. They simply take the spoils of the cheater, you might say. Now, another game, perhaps. What would be the best suited to... Wait, sorry, you said food. Do you wish for a place to rest or simply some fine delicacies?
I think a place to rest, but also a place with good libations and hedonism.
All right.
Food,
Okay, so
please.
personal preference. One of my favorite flavors, a little bit more uncommon here. I know a
Actually,
place that
that's-
serves great goblin. If perhaps goblin is not of your taste,
never
you can
had
go more so
goblin.
nose. I know one that sells a killer halfling. If you're into that. Tell me, what kind of morsels are you salivating for?
All of the above.
Deku pretty much eats anything. Actually, she prefers to cook.
Of the above. Any specific order?
Closest.
Also, does that mean that you want any and all foods? No limitations?
Particularly that one.
As you're pointing over, he says,
She, like, points to someone
I
that just
like
died.
you. I like you a lot. Yes, gnomes do make sure for some tasty appetizers. As he starts to walk you over towards a stall where you now realize the possessions of the individuals are given or taken by the dragons. However, the individuals, rather than being left to rot, are utilized. in a non-wasteful fashion. Much to
Apparently,
the-
it's not just kobolds.
It's dragon culture.
Hey, it's a different time.
Well, have you know, I designed this culture because you made tiki, and I was like, where did that come from? Because here you go. Whatever the case is, as you go over to the station, this for sure would be grimacing to both Zephyr and to Clay Beekman. As you can see, there is a gnome that is laid out on the table, and at first you're like, oh, the individual's like resting on the table. Perhaps he got drunk. Before you notice the splits in his leg and his feet, and this is a gnome in pieces across the table that has been cut up. The individual who's currently cooking appears to be a halfling. He's taking them, kind of almost like putting them over on sticks to grill. He appears what almost looks to be a forge, but as he opens it up, it's clear that it's much more of like an onion. As he pulls out what appears to be a forearm with a quad, just like almost effectively almost looking like a drumstick, a grossly out of portion gnome leg. As he kind of like pulls both of them out and he says, fresh order, and he sets it down on the table. An individual just walks by, puts 2 silver on the table, not even an exchange made, just puts the 2 silver on the table, grabs the forearm, and just bites out of it. The individual you just saw appears to be a fairly a very non-hairy bugbear. As arms kind of like hanging low to the ground, it takes it and kind of like bites into it, and kind of takes a few steps and stops. You didn't debone this, as he throws it back at the halfling. As you hear almost like that slight crack of the bone in the arm hit the halfling in the side of the head. I never said I did, you buffoon! He picks it, now it's wasted, and throws it in the fire behind him. And at this point, you come up to the stall with the midget dragonborn in tow. He says, I have new guest for you, my friend, and she's open to try anything. And the halfling, in the midst of almost like kind of cleaning up and washing his face, almost like stops in the middle of it and he says, anything? I have delicacies, some most too squeamish, but here. And he goes and he starts to mess around under the table, and then he pulls out what appears to, it almost looks like a rotted, like 2 rotted onions that have started to almost like meld into each other. Very wrinkled, very like.
I see what spices are on it.
As you kind of like start to smell it, almost gives hints of garlic. Garlic and onion is the main things that he actually mainly uses that across all of his thing. Seems like he's someone who's like got his favorite spices. Kind of uses them a little bit of everything. And he kind of like pulls it up and he says, "Yes, here, on the house, please, if you won't." As you take this, what is these almost like 2 larger, it was like squishy ball like foods. You bite into it.
Did you just eat a gnome's tits?
It's tough. They're quite hardy and a little bit hard to chew through, but it's almost like a jerky. It's almost like a garlic jerky.
Okay.
Not the absolute best thing you've had, but it's not bad at all. As you kind of bite into it, it's definitely something you'd eat. You'd even make it as like a roadside snack, better than most rations. So you kind of like, now tell me, what do you think? What do you think?
Pretty good. Better than most road rations.
You sillies! I told you it would work. As
I pulled out my meat cleaver while he was doing that, and I start slicing it up like jerky. And then, I put it over the fire to try add a little bit more.
As Tiku is just made her way to the other side of the counter.
And then I grab out a barbecue type sauce and put it on the meat.
As you start to cook, as he calls out, I told you, Liz, a female halfling comes around the corner and she sees it almost almost leaking down from your face. As it was fairly juicy, and she goes, I knew there would be someone who would try it. I just couldn't get behind minotaur testicles. And at this point, he turns and he sees what she's doing. He's like, "What the?" And then he actually sees the
fry it up a little bit.
As he quickly goes from a frustration to a fascination to the chef's hand that you have. So you hand it back to him, immediately takes it and chews it.
It's like caramelized.
Do you have a
sizzling.
job for this festival by chance? And immediately the Dragonborn calls out and says, No, I am already escorting them. We have many more stalls to visit. You cannot be too selfish.
Everyone wants to try some. It's pretty good.
Oh yes, it is. It is quite delicious. I highly recommend it.
Could I just get a salad?
The female halfling Liz, as she was called out, she says, "Someone's sane. I would love to make you a salad. Give me just one moment." And she turns and goes back.
Here you
start
go,
to hear
guys.
almost like a little bit of a clang in the stall as she starts to move some dishes around. Sorry. one
And
more
your
time.
hand went to the guide.
He just takes it and delicious. It is much better than I thought.
It's pretty good, right?
I see now why we must visit all the stalls. Yes, come, please. As he starts to leave the stall, the halfling calls out to him and he says, "Wait! No bill has been paid. That was simply an appetizer. The main course is still yet to be served. If I may."
Wait, didn't he said it was on the house?
Well, that appetizer was. But by the way, we'll pay for your food. Feel free to sit with us. The guide.
Oh,
So I'm talking to
he kind of stopping. He turns to as soon as he's walking away, and you say you pay for his food. He just kind of immediately stops and turns down and says, "I told you that I needed something ordered. Please bring me. Do you have any sheep in today?" As he just immediately flips from "we gotta go" to ordering food, and the halfling kind of shakes his head and he says, "Just so you know, he's asking for the rarest of things."
That's fine.
If that is all right. He goes to effectively what appears to be some kind of a. It's effectively a fridge of sorts. It's a wooden container, and as he opens it up, you can see there's a gemstone at the bottom that seems to be almost looking like dry ice. There's a fog kind of bleeding off of it. Seems to be using this magical stone to effectively have created a fridge. He reaches inside and he pulls out what is a large 22 ounce, what appears to be, it looks like a steak, but it's a little bit more thin, given the nature of the individual asking for sheep. And then with that, he pulls out another tray that has what almost appears to be like a green goop that very clearly has a solid texture, not but a half inch beneath the surface.
Zephyr's just thinking to himself, I'm glad I went for the salad.
This green goop, the green texture on the outside almost looks like a green jello. And then going down a little bit into it, it almost looks to be more of like a custard. Is kind of the essence that you would get, kind of like looking of it.
Custard?
The
lime
custard in the
custard,
middle
hell
is it is more of like it's a very light green, almost going to the point of white. The outside jello,
Like key lime custard
gelatin.
with jello. That sounds delicious.
My brother,
Is he
these,
kinda like-
these are not key lime. These are fermented custard.
He sets down the lamb in front of the dragonborn, and then
Gallbladders.
you didn't notice him pull it out, but it almost looks like he spawns a red rock in his hand, and he runs it over the steak, and you immediately hear it just start to sizzle as it seems whatever the stone in his hand rapidly seems to cook the meat. And he says, "You're welcome, you boring man. Now for you." And he hands out what is, it's like a little bit of a mound as he kind of like sets it down to you, kind of like jiggles a little bit. He says, "I have here, so the outer edge is composed of a mixture between some fine sugars, some precious stone, and a gelatinous cube. It's made for quite the, it's got a little bit of bite, almost a little bit of a kick to whet your appetite for what is the more so sweet, dessert-like texture within. We figured out how to harden some of the, I know you've probably at least familiar with slime creatures. We have some, we've learned how to freeze them of sorts, and it turns out if you freeze them, they sweeten. We don't even really have to add that many other things, but
I'm gonna lean over to Zephyr real quick.
Turn into ice
delectable
cream.
as he takes a cleaver and just slices it. And as he slices it, this white, almost like custard-like slime, as he's described it, as it goes towards the middle, seems to almost like soften and almost appears to almost be more of like a fudge-like material that is purely white as it bleeds out. And he says, "Not to undersell," and as he kind of like gestures to this white material in the middle, the actual addition to the dish. This is a mixture of some fruits, again, some sugars, but most importantly, the saliva of dragon. It gives it quite a It both helps it break it down, a little bit easier to swallow, but in addition to that, it gives it a little bit of a burning, almost like alcohol as it goes down the throat.
Oh, this sounds great.
As Deacon just not even no fancy, just grabs it and immediately starts to bite into what is.
I'm gonna hold off. I'm sorry. Gelatinous cubes, they give me bad acid reflux.
You do need to make a Constitution saving throw from eating this. At this point, Liz comes back out with a large salad bowl. It has what is effectively it is lettuce, parsley, some tomatoes, and there seems to be a little bit of seasoning on it. And then there is a meat inside. But as she comes out, she gestures it, and you kind of like have that immediate reaction. She goes, "Don't worry, it's simply chicken. I'm not nearly as barbaric as my husband." As she sets the plate in front of you.
But
the
what
bowl,
really
I should
is the
say,
difference
salad.
between chicken and cow people?
That's what I've been saying. She doesn't quite understand. Not many people do. We don't get as many guests as he kind of like gestures. This is the first thing that like really catches your guys' attention. And gestures is like, we don't get as many guests as those boring like this chicken salesman. As you like look over and you see there's one that actually has like chicken legs, like actual drumsticks that are being hung from the ceiling. They've got like almost like ribs that have been set up in front of them with what appears to be some like barbacoa that is almost like in a bowl that has many more guests than the table you're currently at. With that, what'd you get in your Constitution saving throw?
That's actually not chicken. That's cockroaches.
As Tiku successfully points out, which one of them are.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? It's definitely plenty. It's definitely got enough of a kick that if you weren't used to this food, it would almost be like eating something that's like way over your spice tolerance. It would upset your stomach. You'd likely be throwing up. It's definitely got almost like a sticky nature as it goes down the throat.
Except for this
which is
stuff
immediately
dissolves your
replaced by
organs.
something that tastes rather close to ice cream, as it's almost a spicy sherbet ice cream.
I'm gonna start chopping it with my nails into like little cube chunks, and then like using my tails as little skewers.
As Tiku starts to partake.
This is delicious.
The Dragonborn has already made it through most of his lamb.
I'll take your word for it.
Right, it's like nothing I've ever tasted before. It's got this cool.
You know, I'm so full after the salad. I just couldn't.
The salad's untouched.
He's got like 2 leaves gone.
No, I can't. I'm sorry. It gives me bad acid reflux. I just can't.
It's good though.
Oh yeah, no, it's delicious, but I just
got
can't
to eat
have it.
this.
The acid's just too much for me.
Okay. Sorry, what did you ask?
I was just gonna ask if he has any like limes types of fruits.
Limes, no, but fruits, yes. As he would bring out a small tray of fruits.
I'm trying different ones with it to see if we
As
can lower the spice.
You've gone
tolerance.
from buying from a stall to coming up with recipes with this mad halfling that seems okay with eating anything and everything. The two of you kind of like sitting a little bit down the table as you almost
I'll
like
figure out,
naturally
like,
start to
which part is
separate
the
a little
spicy
bit
part
from
and-
the Dragonborn Tiku and the halfling, and then the halfling wife Liz, who's been called out, comes up to you guys and goes, "I'm always glad to see that there's some sane people out here. Some of the stalls are just to be warned. Some of them are not just trying to make something unique. They're trying to upset you, some even poison. Depending on who you are, if they're able to, perhaps you can be robbed. I just want you to be prepared. Your friend seems willing to eat anything. You might want to caution her against some. My husband, good intentioned, bad recipes. Can't say that for everyone."
Just on the way down, I'd like to make a perception check to try and find them. I know it's going to be nigh impossible, but I still want to try.
Go for it.
And Malachus is going to assist me for advantage, if that's all right.
Yeah.
By the way, do you think they got eaten by that dragon?
29.
Probably.
29? You actually spot them. And the way that I'm going to say that you spot them is you're like looking around. You can't really find them, and then you hear Tiku say, "It's delicious!" So you kind of like get that little kind of, you just see Tiku proffering on her tail what is like a skewer of almost looks to be jello as you're getting a little bit close to Zephyr, and Zephyr's like, just very much so disregarding
the
it.
spicy butt. Just try it.
Me and Gurgle falling and can barely hear each other.
I think they're right there.
A little bit for the sake of getting everyone back together. I'm going to say that you guys kind of talk at the stall a little bit.
We probably landed, and then we just hunted them down. I think
That's
Could have gotten to us.
yeah, so for how this, fun enough, Kane would probably beat both of you despite being slower to hit the ground. Probably find them both faster than you, and so you guys would meet back up. As Tiku, you can't. The reason you've been at the stall for a bit is like Tiku is very hard to pry away from this cooking session. These ideas.
I try to make a pretty big scene though when I come
Gurgle,
down.
try this.
I'm like flying down, and I'm like, woo! Cannonball! And then as I feather fall, I just like slowly roll down the last like 60 feet.
Last minute, dragon comes.
Gurgle, try this. And I'm gonna stuff a
Boing, boing, boing.
gelatinous
As you find them, Gurgle, you and Razu kind of like coming up. You walk up and you kind of see everyone.
It has-
Tiku immediately turns to you and says, "Try this," and tries to shove something in your mouth.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Do
whoa,
you
whoa, whoa, whoa!
resist?
Time out, Tiku, time out.
Sleight of hand check.
He's like,
Yes.
Wait. As Razu would just chomp it.
Oh no.
not very good.
Yeah, so I guess we're on the chopstick. So never mind.
You go and Gurgle's just kind of like, "Wait, what?" And then Razu just
Ladders it.
you hear like the what would even be the sound, the clamp of Razu's beak as you hear like as Razu eats what is a fairly flavorful, again, it almost tastes like a spicy ice cream that kind of like coats your throat and sticks to it a little bit.
No
This one
con
you
save
can
from
add
him.
some blueberries and it's less spicy.
You would no, actually, no.
Razu's a beast.
This one is less
Razu's put
spicy.
weirder substances inside of his body.
This one's a little less spicy than blueberries.
Ethan.
And then this one.
Wonderful. I will have 3 more.
He looks to the plate, and him and Tiku, between their experimentation and Tiku's just snacking, there's like a very small portion left, and he realizes at this point that the dish is mostly gone. And both in a happy and sad, he goes, "It's almost gone. I didn't think I would sell all of it, but it's almost gone. I will have to purchase more, but." And he takes what is a small serving, and he actually does kind of like chop it and then picks it up with a knife and proffers it out to you. And he says, "Your friend has been helping me with many different ideas on the house for today."
Oh, I've tried drying them out sometimes, and then if you add some fruit in there, then it makes like a jerky, but fruit and delicious and good.
Man's actually got like a journal out, just like I'm writing down these different ideas that you're giving to him. But at this point, this is where you guys are kind of like all grouped back up. I'll say that Zephyr kind of caught the two of you as Razi went over, caught the two of you up on what this stall is, and a little bit of like the information of like what you guys has seen so far. So I'll say you guys have a similar knowledge as long as you're not holding that information.
Where are you taking
Different
everyone, Zephyr?
times.
Oh,
Pair good
we're just
with different
following our
ingredients.
guide here.
By the way,
Holding
we
the pamphlet.
What about the pamphlet? It just.
He's brought everybody into a place where they've got a dead gnome on the table.
This is a restaurant.
That gnome is the entree.
we might have signed you guys up for conquest.
As you say that as well, Gurgle, you
Not
just see
surprised.
Liz. She's just like shaking her head, and she's like, "It's as weird as you think." Almost,
You signed
she
us up
seems
for
like
what?
defeated in this restaurant, but also resigned that it's her life.
This is an exotic place.
Oh, by the way,
I'm gonna go get some chicken wings.
I feel like that's not a guy just offended.
He would be if he wasn't so focused on the instruction that Tiku is giving.
I'm gonna take the gnome and actually like butcher it so it doesn't look quite like dead guy on the table. Get all the fur off.
Okay.
you can also sell.
Tiku now has gone full. Like you mentioned, opening up your own restaurant. She just joined this one.
And I was like,
Oh, you can also sell all of these fur chunks.
Okay.
As you say that, he says,
Do you like tailors and stuff?
Use a gnome's fur. How resourceful!
Yeah, then they like turn it into like fur, and some people, some of those humans think it's like the greatest thing, but they like make fur things out of it.
As you guys would continue to get like the Tigu's a kobold.
I initially came here to help Tiku calm down. She was seeming pretty stressed out.
I mean, I'm a frog. I eat slugs and slimy things in a swamp, but like, I don't know about that.
At this point, almost like from under your arm,
any of this
you see a
subside you?
small red dragonborn head kind of pop up. And he says, "I hear you signed up for a conquest."
What the heck? How are you this small? I'm 2 foot out.
He's like holding down, like he is ducking down. Even still, again, this is a like midget dragonborn. He's like 3.5 feet tall, so he's not like super low. He's just like bending down.
He needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
No, he's not actually touching him. He's like under him. Conquest? Sure, yes, you are participants of the conquest. Oh, this is so much better. May I offer to extend my service past this and perhaps act as your guide for the conquest as well?
This guy is crawling on the floor.
Well, before
Again,
we
I'm
do
2
this
foot out.
conquest thing, I think we need to find some place to maybe rest.
So
a little
either
bit.
Who the fuck?
Fresh
we
meat!
didn't,
And then
we didn't
Tiku
sign
does
up
like
anybody. We
sage
just
and
gave
stuff that
them
have
our
like very
names.
aromatic smells.
Orlevel signed us up, okay? It's his boss that signed us up. Let's not get it twisted.
Wait.
Okay.
You gave them our names.
That is
Didn't you sign us up?
But Gurgle.
No.
Gurgle.
I did
This,
sign us up.
this
for the
is
festival.
his fever dream.
Oh,
We're
okay.
going where he wants
Wait,
us to go.
So Kane signed us up for the
I did.
conquest.
When do we start?
6 hours from now
That's-
at dusk.
That's
Actually,
not-
it's probably like 5.5 hours at this point.
Ugh.
It is about.
May I include in my offer that if I can join you for the conquest, I of course would participate with you. I'm quite useful.
What can you do?
Small price of a platinum for the direction of the
Do
conquest.
you have a potion or some magical means to give us a long rest?
Well, how in the heck are you charging us? Never mind, I wasn't there for that. I can't ask that question.
Wait, do you
I
have any
don't
place
have
to
the
stay?
ability to long rest you, but I can heal you. If any of you are a little bit worse for
sorry,
wear.
we already
but
have a healer. We just need a place that we can take a long rest.
Can we go somewhere where we can just rest for a bit?
Fresh
Oh, you simply
meat.
want do you want an inn? Do you want a more? He looks towards Deacon and says, fanciful inn, or perhaps something a little bit more quaint, as it seems you're on 2 separate pages here.
Does the fanciful
I
inn give me a
think
long rest in
quiet.
6 hours?
quiet where we can get a lot of rest.
I'll debone then.
All right. Perhaps we should go. Perhaps the tavern. Perhaps not the tavern. As he almost seems to like backtrack on the thought, he says, "We should go to Inkst. Inkst would be a fine place, a fine establishment for each of you. Not as fanciful, but also perhaps a little bit of information gathering. Many of the individuals that participate in a conquest stay at Inkst."
Sounds good.
Tiku's deboned
Right,
the thing
it's-
now and put the bones in a big pot to make soup and to make like a bone broth.
Tiku, we're going to an inn. You coming?
What?
We're
Just-
going to
just-
take a rest.
Just come come with us and see where we're staying. Where we're staying, and then you can come back here.
Oh, by the way, you guys owe her wages for the work.
What?
He
No,
kinda
he's good.
He looks down and he seemed like a little bit disheartened for a moment. And you say he's good. He says, wonderful.
Tiku, don't sell your skills.
We're
They're
just having
valuable.
fun. Just friends, it's fine.
I can promise you all the delicacies I have.
Coming back.
Okay, that's payment enough, I guess, I suppose.
I look forward to seeing you as he looks to the pot, and you can see that he just starts to like rack his brain on like the instructions that you were like calling out to yourself as you cooked. As you're like, okay, now I need to do this and this and this. And he's like just like thinking, goes to his notepad. He says,
Oh, yeah.
and as you guys like start to get up and follow your guide, you actually hear him like calling out. He says, "So the next step was," he starts to go through his notes.
Oh, yeah. What's your name, sir?
So cute.
He stops and goes, "Oh, sorry, me?
Yes.
Oh, my name is Tor.
Tor what?
Just Tor.
Just Tor?
Just Tor.
Tiku is
Torquil?
Tiku. Tor is Tor.
Okay.
Nothing fanciful, but remember it for one day. I will be a world-renowned chef." as the pot like starts to bubble, and he goes, "Oh!" And he turns and starts to deal with it.
No doubt that your name will go far and wide.
So, surprised our guide's name wasn't Tor.
Wait a second. I just had a thought. What if there's only one other guy that I know that cooks as crazy as Tiku does? What if this guy is the packer before he became the packer?
He doesn't look like the
That
packer.
seems way too much
This
conspiracy.
packer you speak of, I know most things in this festival. Who might this packer be?
Oh, he's an extra dimensional being that just like invites us into his space and eats people's souls.
He's like a gremlin jackal thing that's like really good at cooking and shit.
Yeah, but he like cooks people's souls instead of he doesn't cook their physical bodies. He like cooks them into essence soup.
I think
he has a gambling
Dimensional
problem.
soul chef. He kind of like pulls at his lute and starts to ding ding. Extra change. And he just starts almost like stinging to himself, and he stops and goes, "Oh, please do follow. Please do follow. I am going the right direction. I'm struck with inspiration." As he starts to almost like play a slight tune to himself.
What's
As
our
he-
guide's name again? Now that I just went out of my brain.
Tor?
Nope.
No, that's the chef.
That would be funny though.
The guy's name?
Yeah.
Tour.
Tour guide.
The tour guide.
First name
Oh,
Tor.
Zarion?
Second name guide.
Zarion?
It is sorry. I'm sorry. I was laughing and I was double checking to see which one because I got a few names here. It is Arion. I'm just gonna say Tiku just asked, and he again calls out so that the three of you technically know it. He says, "It is Arion. Now come. We must go to Ink." Nope, wrong note. This point, he continues to take you through the festival, and again, you start to see games which, at first glance, when you looked to be simple games of cornhole, of throwing rocks, of like knife throwing games, which are quickly becoming more deranged as you pay more attention. The cornhole game that you saw, they're throwing heads. They're not throwing rocks. As again, you already have an idea of what the knife throwing game is. You see another that at first I don't even know what the game is called in real life. You know the carnival where you have to hit the button to get the ball to go up and hit the bell.
Mallet slam.
You see a game of Mallet Slam, and you're like, that's a little bit of an interesting game, but there almost seems to just be a meter of sorts. It's a glass container with a liquid that seems to bubble. And as you guys kind of like walk past it, there's an individual who's laying on the ground. As the individual comes to take a swing, he swings it down and hits his kneecap, and you hear the crack as it and snaps under it. And the individual starts to almost like scream. Again, the voice muffled, but the water starts to bubble and fill the vial. The individual, as it gets to a small front, he says, "Is he sturdy or are you weak? Either way, you've lost." As you guys walk past this game.
Apparently, it is called High Striker.
Apparently, it is called High Striker. This one is not. As you move past this
Knee
game
clapper,
You
bro.
know, some of
High
these games
Striker.
actually look reasonably fun if there wasn't so many people dying.
I'm imagining we seeing that one where you throw a rock at the target and then they fall, but instead of water,
It's lava.
it's spears and shit.
Are all dragon festivals so
Gruesome?
Gory?
As he's playing his lute, he stops and he says, "No, definitely not. The Dragon Festival is determined by the challengee. The Dragon God is most against most of the festivities going on here." And as he kind of like gestures out, he points out a few people and he says, "As you can see, there's obvious crooks and charlatans all about. The challengee wanted a lawless festival. Of course, the Dragon God has his own refutals, and he changed some of the rules. You are protected as long as you follow the laws of the city. But an invite was sent across not only Altira, but even across the way to the far land of Kalismir, Logrotos. There are many from far and wide. They're mostly criminals. And of course, he kind of like gestures up to Lone Peak. He says, and of course, the prisoners of war, that not everyone simply didn't follow the rules. There's not that many. There's not that many people with the gall to go against the Dragon God. However, in the Dragon Wars, there is no shortage of those foolish enough to follow the gods. So, Prison of Wars, make for fun games. Cheer for those that follow the dragons.
Like, yeah, no.
Yeah, those crazy people that follow gods. Holy cow, they're freaking psychos.
I
Make a
point.
deception check.
I point at the guy getting his kneecap slammed.
He stole a loaf of bread.
What'd you get?
2.
2?
God.
He kind of stops. And he looks towards you. And he goes,
Wait,
A
you're
bardic.
proficient at deception?
I am. I think I have a +6. So
Yeah, you have reliable talent.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay, it's a 2.
that means it's probably not a 2.
It's probably like a
well, I need to
16.
know what it is.
But also, I might not be proficient in deception because I think that might be one of the ones that I'm not, and it isn't. Actually, crazily enough, I do have advantage on deception though because of my freaking. Okay, so it's a 19.
Okay.
What gives you advantage?
One of my rune carvers.
The
All right.
wind rune.
That's good.
It's one of my.
As
Yeah, so I think it's the one that I think it's the cloud rune.
your
Yes,
response to those gods worshippers, and he says, "Yes, I know, fools, all of them to be burned."
Why would you worship a god when you can worship fire?
He kind of like stops. Interesting choice, but product of the dragon. Again, technically, you simply define your gods. You can follow gods, it's as long as they do not oppose the Dragon King. He originally wanted peace. The gods sought out this war. So, it is their fault, and those that would follow that.
I feel like
And he
that-
looks over to one of the stations where you see someone who is just. They did not survive the
Zephyr
game, and
starts
they have
sweating
passed
a little
on.
bit.
He says, "Get what's coming to them."
This is like a case of like propaganda. Like the dragon side's being told the god started it. The god side's being told the dragon started it.
Maybe. As you continue to follow him, he takes you to again what appears at first to just be another one of those almost like ant-like tunnels that have been. This one does very much so seem cut into the side of this canyon, but it is much smaller than the other ones you've seen. Maybe about 30 feet tall, 20 feet wide, and the sides of the dirt, rather than being dirt, have been instead cased with wood, and you're effectively looking at a tavern with no front wall. So like the front entrance where the door and everything would be, it's just open. You can see there are multiple tables inside. There appears to be an elf bartender that is currently going around passing drink, or barista would probably be a better way. There is another elf sitting behind the table, a more robust, older elf woman. She is calling out to the barista as she almost like spills a drink, brings it over to a different table of what this particular group very much so appears to be like tables of adventurers. There's 9 separate tables, all of which seem to have groups ranging from 4 to 9 individuals surrounding the tables. Their races extremely varied, from Luxodons and Leonins to humans, elves, dwarves. It is as odd an assortment of people as your group, almost at every table.
I would unsummon Malrith when we entered.
Okay. As you unsummon Malrith. By the way, Malrith has not gotten any like odd glances. People see, when they see her moving around, they like make way for her, but it's like a yep, dragon. Carry on. As you guys kind of enter in, the barista calls out and she says, "Will you have another one?" She comes up to you guys. Her left plate empty, the one on the right having a few drinks on it. She says, "Are you looking for a place to stay? Some drinks, food? Tell me, what can I get for you?"
Some rooms.
Some rooms? Wonderful. Do you want some food as well, or do you simply wish for some lodging?
We actually ate on the way. Yeah.
Easily enough. They just want some lodgings. This one should be fairly easy. Just send them up to maybe the second floor. Give them the other rooms on the far right.
We need the cushiest beds you have so that we can long rest in 5.5 hours.
We'll do our best. She just starts to walk away. And the fatter elf lady behind the bar kind of gestures for you guys to come a bit closer. As you guys approach, she says, "All right, a room for 1 room, 2, 3. I wouldn't want to judge any couples.
How many beds in the room?
Each room has a single bed, queen and size. Currently, we have 7 more rooms available. So I could give you one for each of you. A room for, how long are you going to be staying?
Well, we're joining the conquest, so I'm not sure exactly.
All right, so at least 7 days. Do you plan on staying after the festivities at all?
No.
No, not looters. Much respect to you. All right, 7 days in the conquest. So the way that the rooms would actually work, there is much demand. So each additional day comes with an extra fee. If you were to average it out between all of it, you're looking about 12 gold apiece for the 7 days.
I will just transform back.
I think that's fine.
12 gold a room?
12 gold a room, yeah.
And I'll pull out 12 gold and set it down.
She takes it and just hands out a key to you. She says, go up the stairs. You'll see a long hallway. Seems a little bit long. Takes some people off guard. Just walk for a time. The door, as soon as you approach it, the keyhole will alight for you. For you, it will be on the right. I believe you'll be about 8 doors down.
I'll just
Like to
start heading up.
approach the innkeeper. Hi there. My name's Clay Beekman.
My name's Morga. How can I help you, Clay?
Well, I'm looking for the room. Same thing. 12 gold.
12 gold.
But I'm a little short on coin, but I do have other valuables. In fact, I have something that you cannot get anywhere else, and it is quite limited edition. That is the Clay Beekman Marlowe.
She looks at it for a moment, turns, grabs a cup, and starts to pour beer into it.
That's not
I don't
the only
think I
thing
need
for
it.
drinking. You can make braised ribs with these. You can cook with this Marlowe.
She kind of looks past you to one of the tables. You see a dwarf who's just drunk, has drool kind of bleeding down. He's like, do you think he cares what I feed him?
He may not, but imagine if word got out about your braised ribs. How many people would be coming to your establishment for this? And then you can charge them whatever you want. For you only have 1 bottle to make it with, so it is a very exclusive dish. I'd
persuasion
use,
check.
my luck feat. Oh, 2 19s. Plus. So 29.
29. The idea of the exclusivity, she kind of, all right, and she kind of with a broad smile reaches out and then hands you a key herself, and she goes, a little bit extra as well, as she pulls out a small, almost looks like a chest, and hands it over to you. And as she kind of reaches it out to you, she opens it up, and there's a candle inside. You mentioned you needed some rest, and she looks to the bottle, and it's almost like the crooked grin of a merchant. He goes, and I would want to be fair. My debts are always paid.
I respect that. Thank you.
All right, and we'll just get 4 more rooms.
Okay. So you guys give her the gold
1, 2, 3.
for the rooms.
You're literally getting room for everybody.
So
Wow.
that would be a room for everyone.
Yeah.
48 gold.
Yeah.
She never sleeps in her own room.
Do you guys
You want a queen size bed?
So I used all my money.
Doesn't Zephyr carry it all? Didn't we literally conglomerate?
I'm paying for the 4. Yeah.
As Zephyr pays for the rooms, and unless there's
I made a
more-
bad bet that I was gonna be cool in the fight of the gods.
You would have won if you bet on me.
I mean, some people thought you were cool.
No, I got stun locked for 5
I said
rounds.
some people.
I got
They thought it was impressive that you lived. But okay, is there anything else you guys wish to do, or do you want to go up to the rooms to short rest, I presume?
I need a tub.
Let's all meet up in Gurgle's room then while he soaks, and we can talk about strategy.
Okay.
I need a soak in some water.
So she's each of the rooms actually has a tub in it. It's a fairly nice inn. As you guys all go up to Gurgle's room to meet up, this is where you would actually see the rooms. It's got a nice bed, dresser. There's like a personal tub inside that also seems to have running water. It's got a
Ooh,
faucet,
fancy.
but rather than having like knobs, there's 2 gemstones that are
Gonna have to
embedded in
catch
the
the
wall.
water.
If you touch the red gemstone, hot water seems to fill the tub, and if you touch the blue, cold water does. With that, as you guys,
Zarian, if you want to come up with us.
I would love to. As he's gonna come up with you as well. As you guys group up in Gurgle's room, that is where we're gonna go to break. To see what this conquest that you guys have all been signed up for, what this is, and what is going on in the Dragon Festival. We will be right back. See you in a second. And we're back. All right. You guys have made your way. Oh, my goodness. You guys have made your way, grouped up in Gurgle's room in the Inkst Inn.
Tiku got inspired.
And Tiku got... My goodness, I'm sorry. And Tiku got inspired, as I always forget. I do appreciate the reminders. So do go ahead and mark that you have inspiration, Tiku. But at this point, you guys are grouped back up in your room with your guide to make a plan.
Welcome to my room.
As Gurgle is just naked in the tub.
Not naked. I don't have to get naked.
Apparently, Gurgle is not naked in the tub.
His clothes are just always wet. Apparently.
Just in a Speedo.
His clothes are canonically always wet.
That's true. They are always wet.
And he could just dry him whenever he wanted to, if he really wanted to. So
That's true, but I wouldn't because I need to stay wet.
Gurgle's in the tub. The room is quite literally yours.
As for strategy, I have no idea. I don't know what we're going to be facing.
figured we'd ask our friend here what he knows about the whole conquest thing.
I think we're going
wait,
to
he
be
was being-
fighting.
Wait, we're actually paying him a platinum?
Legitimate.
Oh,
Well, even if you're
I mean,
not,
he's-
I'm your guide for now, so I'm
he's
happy
our
to
guide for the
explain at least this first conquest, as I am... Well, I wouldn't participate without the platinum, but I can at least tell you about it. Good news! You've seen the first round. They're downstairs. The conquest is The first round is almost as if it's I think a trial to be able to enter into the next steps. Each day has a step to the conquest with the winners of the conquest. And I do say winners, as there are 4 groups that can win. The winners of the conquest will all be granted an audience with the new Dragon King. Whether or not that is our current Dragon King, or if the usurper takes his place, either way, an audience will be granted and a wish to be following, or a wish to be granted after that, as long as it's within his power.
Wait, are we talking about like the mythological like spell wish?
I mean, if as long as the current dragon is in fact... As long as the current Dragon King, yes, stereotypically, every time the festival ends, he quite literally grants the wish of the victors. Up to 4 groups.
I gotta ask, is his name Shenron?
We already know the name.
I
of
didn't
the
even
current
think about
Dragon
that, and no, it's not.
I just had to. Okay.
King. Who's Shenron?
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z. The dragon that grants.
Do we collect balls in these games? Are they labeled?
Kiku just ate 2.
Dragon burns on the tavern, and Razu mysteriously dies. Everyone else is fine. That
So,
said,
the first round
will simply be a fight. You will be put up against another group. There's only one group that is in particularly scary, a little bit of a larger group as well. But as long as you're not up against them, I think you're going to be fine. And
Maybe you just underestimate us. What if we're scary and you just don't know?
then you still will not have been properly rested from what you told me, and you should still be wary of another
Oh,
strong
I
group.
didn't know. I don't need to rest. He needs to rest.
Well, then I suppose you have absolutely nothing to worry about. With that said, the first match will simply be a competition between the two of you. If individuals die, that is considered entirely acceptable. Whether or not you choose to spare your opponents will alter your the view of yourselves in the eyes of many of the other people here. With that said, assuming you're able to pass that
What's common
each
etiquette?
day, it completely depends. Who do you want to praise you? If our current Dragon King stays in power, then I would recommend sparing your enemies. If the usurper actually takes his place, I highly recommend eliminating them. So it depends on who you believe is going to win this this festival.
What if I don't know?
What if we just do half and half? We spare half, kill half.
Then I believe both of the Dragon Kings would disrespect you for it, or
Well, damn.
they would not appreciate it, not disrespect you. But
Apparently, no fence sitting.
yeah, of course, exactly.
Okay, but I have a
Current
big.
king wants us to kill them or
But
not
I have
kill
a
them?
big problem with
Not kill them,
figuring
The
right?
out-
current king would prefer that you let your opponents live. He is the one who placed the restrictions on what the dragons can do for the individuals participating in the festivities.
What is the name of the usurper?
The name of the usurper. I can't quite remember.
Is it Bahamut?
He is evidently.
Is it
It is
Tiamat?
as obvious as you think it is that he is lying.
Is it Bahamut? Is it Tiamat?
I've never even heard of a Bahamut or a Tiamat.
What are you looking for?
Is it a Hydra? Does it got multiple heads?
I was not as far as I can remember. As he kind
What are
of
you
like
looking
holds
for?
his hands out. This man's currency is gold. His product is information.
And that's why I'm asking how much he's asking for.
For a dragon name, that is a high price. Not many know. I'd say 10 platinum.
No.
That is fair. It's okay. I can't remember anyways.
You have detect thoughts, right?
I have the spell, yes.
He smiles and both. What's your passive perception?
22.
20. So you do both beat 20. He smiles, but as he smiles, you see him slip a ring onto his finger.
I knew it.
It's all right. Again, I can't remember. But the first iteration, you will simply be fighting another group. Perhaps I could do it.
How's the guy that attends the Dragon Festival every year not know?
Not know what?
Who the king of the dragons is?
We know who the king of the dragons
What I
is.
asked.
He is the Dragon King.
Oh, he asked who the usurper was. That's right. My bad. I still feel like that would be a pretty normal thing to know.
Perhaps. Perhaps you could go about the festival and ask some others.
And why, by the way, why do you want to join? Why would you be willing to join us, even for the money? I feel like there's a lot of risk involved.
Oh, of course, but I consider myself an excellent judge of character, and if I were a betting man, I'd place my bet on you. And, as I said, eyes will look favorably or distastefully upon you, depending on your results in the encounter. And if my investment proves worthy, then the eyes cast upon me would be most favorable.
So shouldn't we be charging you for joining us?
If you were capable of completing everything yourselves, yes. But don't know if you are looking about your Hannah. But I mean,
No,
you
we're
look
pretty,
a
we're
little
plenty
bit warm.
capable.
That is fair. Perhaps it is. Perhaps I should wait outside until you are ready for more direction.
We got all the questions we need from him.
I mean, if he's gonna heal us, I'm okay paying him a platinum, but I don't know about 10 platinum for a dragon name. That seems like kind of like a ripoff.
I mean,
I don't think you understand the power of having a dragon's name, but that is fine. Again, I can't remember, so it's in
We already
your
found the name of the red one.
That lessens my point to none. But good job.
by the way, the healing part, what were you planning on using?
Well, I have restoration. I can cure many wounds. Probably the most impactful. I can bring you back to life as long as it's within a minute of your death. I can only do that a few amount of times, so I would hope that you wouldn't all die. But apart from that, it is.
Can you regrow a limb?
Of course, a simple regeneration. I have only once, but yes.
We have a slight issue where sometimes one of our friends likes to chop off friendly limbs.
I hold up my arm.
I wouldn't call that a slight issue, but again, once. But if I'm not mistaken, my services are unneeded. So if you have no other questions for me, I will simply wait outside. I will.
That's good. We'll
Wonderful.
We'll come get you when we're ready to.
If you change your minds, you know my prices. That said, I am your escort for today. I will simply wait in the establishment downstairs.
What if
perhaps proffer a little bit
What
more
if we found another guy to join us and heal us for cheaper?
Then I would hire him. Sounds like a good investment.
I believe he's playing you for a fool, Gurgle.
No, I simply know what my worth is.
What's your...
Harry ho! As he turns to the door and opens it, as you start to ask, he stops. What?
What's the next competition?
Oh, the next step in the conquest. Oh, I believe tomorrow is you're not as familiar with Dragon. Let's call it an obstacle course of such, with high stakes.
Oh, I'm really good at those.
Does being in the position stage 6 make a difference?
Position stage. I mean, it tells me who you're fighting, as long as I can find the other person that is in position 6. Information. He's like halfway out the door at this point.
Are you gonna finish our tour later?
Of course. Again, I'm waiting downstairs. I'm here all day. I simply wish to. Information comes at a price, but it has to be gathered before I can enact that price. And there are many interesting folks downstairs. In particular, the group with the bugbear. I think unique assortment there.
Aye, coming.
Gary ho! As he walks out and shuts the door.
All right. So you guys found out anything?
I think a healer for a 7-day thing for a plat's pretty good.
I opened the door real quick, just
Make sure he left.
As you like go and open the door, and he's
Whistling?
at what point? Okay, I need his perception check. As you open the door, he's walking down the hall but he's only like 2 steps away.
Oh, it seems like you're taking a while to find your way. Do you need a guide?
He turns his lute in hand and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I was composing. I got lost in thought."
Lute in hand.
Inception or insight check.
I don't believe it.
That
Like even if I do fail, but like
sketchy as hell.
This guy is as sketchy as the moment you met him.
yeah.
Can't tell.
Turns.
He's the same as
and
always.
is walking very slowly, to the point that his distance away from the door makes sense if he was going this slow the whole time.
If you want information, you can pay us.
Oh.
His pace starts to a normal one. You know, oh, adventure! And starts going down the stairs.
All right, and go back in.
Could you clarify your question?
Well, like you guys went somewhere else. Like,
Does
what-
anybody have magic shit? To
Oh, we just
block
we
down?
just found a mostly naked. We just found a mostly naked elf that was very, very much able to just slap the red dragon and tell it bad boy and go away, and it listened. So yeah, pretty interesting elf lady.
Was it like his mistress or something?
I don't know. She looked like a normal elf to me.
I'm pretty
But,
sure most of the people here are dragons, obviously, right?
I
Dragon
mean, maybe.
Festival.
But I will say she just asked us why we're here, and then we gave her our names, and then she told us that we're supposed to go to the
Stage 6.
the sixth Coliseum or
To clarify,
contest area.
when Olivale invited us to the festival, she took it as him inviting us as his champions, essentially. And I am not opposed, so I accepted in your stead.
I mean, that's fine. How far weighs the thing?
It's about
You know, it looked a lot
a
closer.
quarter of a rotation round, so probably an hour away.
It looked a lot closer when I was looking at it from the sky. I'm gonna be honest.
How'd you find us if you were that far away?
He found you.
We jumped and then we landed and then we just started asking around.
You are not as inconspicuous even amongst this crowd, Tiku.
Actually, I'm just good at tracking people.
There also would have been rumors that were going around of like, that kobold is interesting.
I mean,
that's-
like
that's a
5 foot
kobold
something
with wings.
kobold is pretty interesting.
With wings.
Ripped kobold.
Oh, her eating the gnome wasn't the weird part.
Tika's gonna pull her orb out.
Biggest red flag.
Start putting the other eyes next to it.
They did not recognize the name Orlevale,
So
and they said he was a jester.
it doesn't sound like we need a whole lot for these challenges. Doesn't seem like they're gonna be quite
I believe
different in scope.
As you're saying that, you watch as Tiku kind of, and the orb in her hand seems to almost glow a slight yellow for a moment as you place one of them
Then the purple one.
in. Put the purple one in, and the color kind of shifts to a purple for a moment, as they do seem to fuse with the orb you have.
Tiku, what are you doing?
Nothing.
she is combining the anchor points into a gem. Wait, you had that gem before. Where did you get it?
Yep. Packer.
I suppose that doesn't
Actually,
make
wouldn't be this
sense.
big to you anymore, by the way. It'd be more like
Oh
this.
yeah. I grew. I forgot.
Why are you combining the souls of the anchors inside of it?
I don't know. It kind of just happened.
I mean, you could technically ask someone here and he could find out.
As someone who now what? We don't tell anybody we have this. This is for the labyrinth, the crystal eye. This has nothing to do with where we're at. Other than we might get another one.
Have you already identified it?
It's a soul.
I don't remember, to be honest.
You
like
always
I
just
did.
try again.
I feel like I did a while ago.
You did. You figured out that it's a soul stone. It houses many, many souls inside.
So I did the yellow-eyed one. I did the purple-eyed one, and I already put the pink one in. Okay.
I feel like
Tiku's gonna focus on the orb.
we shouldn't spend too much time talking if people need to
Did the Packer
sleep before
give you
this event.
direct, like, a plan?
Yeah, I got to eat it.
I'm going to
And
return
kill
to
a
my room.
dragon.
Did he tell you to fuse
And
them
light my
together?
No, he said I got to fight a dragon in here and eat it. Learn to eat it.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Inside check.
Go for it.
14.
Seems to be telling the truth.
Tiku, I remember it's at least.
I don't know, maybe time to send Discord messages. I don't know. I don't trust this Packer guy.
Well, if we don't have anything else to talk about, I guess we can go. Did we want to hire our guide to come with us?
One plat for regeneration?
Does it make the trial? Well, didn't ask. Does it make the trials harder if we have extra people?
I have no idea. I'm
He
not
didn't
sure
say
exactly
so.
How this works still. I think we pass on it. I don't think I feel like it's safe to bring a wild card in with the group.
I mean,
Tico likes
he
him.
likes money. So, I mean, if there's one thing that's predictable about guys that like money is, oh, but what if the other guys pay him more than we do to fight us back? Can he switch sides in the middle of the game?
You know what? In this timeline, we're like rich, right?
Are we? I spent 500 platinum on a bad bet, and he gave away 70 platinum for.
That's an investment.
Yes, but
We're also in a place with lots of dragons.
Can I make
They
a
have
history
lots
check
of
to
money.
how much just not hiring someone to fight with you, just the regeneration spell costs?
Go for it.
The regeneration spell's free.
We'll just.
It's just a 7th level spell slot.
No, I'm saying to pay someone to use it.
Oh,
Can
that
I
would
do
change
an
based on
Arcana
time
check?
too.
I'm just curious if the crystal eye is actually recreating this land. Would rune weaving be stronger since this is very far in the past and I don't know, closer to the weave or the origin? I think is what you called it.
I'm pretty sure he called it the Strand, but yeah.
You can make. I would say it'd be an Arcana check.
21 on the history check.
You're wondering how much it would cost for a spell check?
No, just
Or
to
to
know
Pay someone to do
use-
rest
in
of the
our own
regeneration.
time how much it would cost for someone to pay someone to use the regeneration spell on your limb.
So I'd actually that'd be Arcana, not history. So do Arcana.
I will switch 18.
18.
24.
A spell scroll is about 800 to 1,000 gold is what you'd be looking at for regeneration for just like a single spell scroll cast. If you have someone that can just use the spell, sometimes it can be a little bit cheaper than that because they don't have to do the materials. But you'd imagine like around, it'd probably be accurate to say around 800 to 900 gold.
And 10 gold's 1 plat.
He's asking for 10 gold.
per day.
Yeah. So 7 plat total.
It was 10 plat, so it's 100 gold per day.
No.
10
He
plat.
said a plat.
10 plat to learn the dragon's name, 1 plat to hire him.
Yes, apologies. We were talking about.
Yeah, so it's 1 plat per day.
I mean, prices here are clearly down.
What'd you get on Arcana?
24.
24. You're split between you don't know enough about rune weaving to know for sure, and it would not be more effective. You don't know. You have no inclination that it would be more effective, but you don't know if that's just because you don't have the proper knowledge, or if that's because it wouldn't be.
We could always ask him, what is the punishment for turning on your own team in the conquest? Because I'm sure there's a punishment for that.
I mean, he's just outside. You can just go talk to him.
I mean,
I'm gonna take a short rest and then
I
I'll
would
go
just
do some
op-
reconnaissance.
I
while
would
everybody
open the
else
door
needs
real
to
quick
sleep
and
longer.
just ask him.
Do you want to go downstairs? Because he actually did go downstairs this time.
Yeah, I would just go down and ask him real quick.
How much is the punishment if you betray a party in the conquest?
Oh,
What
you
are the
can.
rules?
That would be one of the rules. To answer your question, he kind of like gestures, pointing in the direction of one of the gallows. He says, "So I suppose the penalty would be that you're the prize."
Okay.
I'll let him go back out of the room.
Come.
Well, if we hired him, it's pretty safe to say he couldn't betray us.
And why is that?
Because there's a rule. And if you break it, you die.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
To the dragons, specifically.
Gago.
Sorry, I was looking for the chart.
What's up?
7th level spell scroll. 25,000 gold.
25K?
Yeah.
That sounds more accurate. I was pretty sure that what I was looking at was wrong.
So effectively, just the
That's
regeneration
accurate,
spell is 80 plat in our day. Roughly.
25K? That is 2.5K plat.
Yeah, that's 2,500.
That's 2,500 plat.
That sounds much more accurate as well.
1,500.
So one regeneration scroll in our time
Is
is
2,500 plat. That's literally 2,000 times more expensive than what he's asking for.
Yeah, I see no reason why we wouldn't hire this guy.
I was like, "This is pretty cheap." And Zephyr's like, "Yeah, scroll that's like 25,000 gold." And Rousey's like, "Why are we not hiring?"
Does that make you question why he's willing to sell his services so cheap?
Because inflation.
Yeah, just chalk it up to that one word.
Literally.
Second most intelligent person in the party.
Random thing for
Depending
you.
on how long ago
Inflation
it
happens
could.
when you go away from the gold standard.
Yeah, that.
Gold is the currency. So the only way that inflation would happen is if you started to mix the gold.
Inflation would
Well,
still
I mean, if
occur.
you also bring in more gold,
Yeah. Like
Yeah, if you found
So I'm
more
saying
and that might
inflation
be
would be a thing, and then I would also say,
We don't need to go into inflation talks.
I mean,
it wouldn't be
Razu
that much.
would also say,
And if he wins, he gets part of rewards and part of like the fame. And him as a guide, value skyrocket.
He doesn't quite sit right with me. I think we should pass on.
That is
having him.
definitely an ulterior motive.
And I wouldn't be shocked if he were to sell us out.
That's my point. He can't.
But
I'm sure there's ways to do it still.
Gago,
Outside
What's
of
up?
the actual competitions themselves.
I'm curious on a rune weaving spell that I've been thinking of. With TQ's cooking and the magical properties therein, is there by chance a way we could enhance it?
How?
Well, Tiku is capable of granting minor boons for a temporary amount of time, so perhaps we could find a way to make them permanent, find a way to make them last longer, find a way for them to draw out more of their potency.
Well, I'm going to let you guys do that.
I'm only good at
I'm
making-
going to go read a book.
I'm only good at making the physical part of it. I'm not as good about the magical part of it. So
That's why you would assist me, instead of it the other way around, as it has been.
I understand that, but like, what am I gonna do? Like, make her pop better? I don't know if I can make her pop better than a guy who cooks souls for a living.
No, we're not going to be enhancing anything physical. It is going to be enhancing the food specifically. Similar to how I integrated my spell, Hero's Feast, into her cooking. I've been thinking more along those lines. And we're going to be fighting in a draconic festival. So if we could find a way to share mine and your resistances to fire with the others.
I think there's a misconception on what I'm capable of doing here.
That is
I'm
why
good with a hammer.
I'm asking for your assistance with me. As you know the runes about as well as I do, it would be two novices trying to solve what one novice could not. This is merely an idea. If you do not believe it is smart, then say so now.
I just don't know. I feel like when you have an idea, it's like in my head when I think about rune weaving, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna draw runes on the ground,
The runes
and
do
I
not
want
have
them
to
to
be drawn.
do. I want them to do a thing. Like I want them to make a fire, or I want them to, you know,
That is something.
give some qualities to an item that I have. I just don't know how to do that with food.
That is something that I accomplished without you that I did not feel pertinent to speak of till now. Do you remember Saval's puppet that we met when we entered his room within the academy?
Right.
I was able to make it come alive to an extent,
It was already alive. It was talking to us when we got there.
and yet it perished after our conversation. When you all left, I tried to breathe life back into it, and I succeeded to an extent.
Okay.
So
How?
I'm trying to do something similar with Tiku's cooking. Not a physical manifestation, more of a metaphysical one.
I still feel like that needs to be attached to something.
It does not, I assure you. Allow me to maybe by chance show you. I want to just do like a simple 1 minute rune weaving. I really hate that you made a concentration check because I don't have Constitution Plus at all. Just a simple 1 minute. I want to try and make the air hotter. Of just basically, with my own connection to fire and my own connection to heat, of just basically emanate heat to allow the air to increase in temperature. And I want to basically be singing basically similar to the Song of the Forge that I sang with him with his boon.
Okay, make an Arcana check. Or rune weaving check.
Weaving check. I will guidance myself as I do not.
I think you said we can't guidance ourselves
Well-
for rune weaving.
You can't because guy.
Because it's
Guidance lasts a
concentration.
minute.
Both is
But it is concentration. But my counter argument is I've cast enhanceability on myself to rune weave in the past, and it is also concentration.
Maybe you shouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, you
I-
shouldn't have been able
okay.
to. So rune weaving does require concentration. That's like one of the core elements of it.
Okay.
So you would not be able to do guidance in addition to that.
That is still a 19. And I guess I do need to make a concentration check. +2 is so sad. 12, so pass.
As you cast a spell, and you're doing how long are you
Just
doing?
a single minute.
Single minute?
Just a proof of concept for gurgle. Basically, I'm not writing anything down. I'm not doing anything. It is just verbal.
Okay, so a minute is going to be 6 separate checks.
It was one check a minute.
It is 1 check a minute. Sorry.
Okay.
My brain just broke. My brain just
trying to
broke.
make me kill myself.
Give me a second. Sorry. I'm still working through it a little bit. No, you're good. And you pass the concentration.
John commits to 10 minutes. Bro makes fucking 200 checks.
It'd be a lot. That was a mistake for sure. Okay, so as you finish the spell, the temperature would increase, but it's slight.
Yeah, I know.
To like a couple of degrees. It's quick enough that it's noticeable, but it is also for an instant and then seems to die down. In addition to that, in this cast, I would say you also realize that the intent or the breadth of the story also would largely impact the spell, to the point that doing something as loose as heating the air, effectively you're leaving that open to heat how much air, and how much of that is actually put in the story. And you have a feeling that's partly why it didn't seem quite as effective as what you might have hoped for.
Yeah, if I was I would have been way more specific if this just wasn't just a proof of concept for Girdle.
You are able to heat the air a little bit though.
You see, rune weaving does not require runes. Not to the extent that you and Roka have been messing with them.
So you want to try and buff
Tiku's cooking.
effects of her cooking?
Basically, the thought process I was going to attempt was, amongst us, all of us, we share certain benefits. My resistance to fire and cold, your resistance to fire, Clay's immunity to poison, Zephyr's attunement to lightning.
You're immune to poison?
Yeah, I'm a paladin.
I thought that was immune to disease.
I mean, either way. What I was attempting to do was, in Tiku's cooking and in those partaking, we could attempt to share these benefits. Ambitious, yes. But it is a proof of concept I want to try.
So, what are we testing? Do we want to share fire resistance with everybody, or do we want to...
I believe that would be the simplest one to start with, and it would be the most easiest for us to accomplish, as it is something we both share. And fire is my element, as is yours.
Pretty sure everybody has to be okay with it. Isn't the way that... what was his name?
Rudars.
No. The Shadow Monk guy.
Kyle.
Kyle! Didn't he draw the runes on himself?
Correct. With an extreme amount of error.
So we have to draw runes on everybody?
No. That is more of a permanent effect. I'm looking for a more non-permanent solution, similar to Tiku's food, only lasting a certain amount of time. This buff would only last a certain amount of time. That also means that if we mess up, that would also only last a certain amount of time. The answer is, Gargoyle. When it comes to rune weaving, I still do not know what I'm doing, and I'm trying to figure out.
I mean, I'd be more... I feel like my I think when you understand it and you can visualize it more, it works better. And like my visualization and understanding more comes to like being able to like draw rune. Like I could maybe like test it on somebody. We could draw something on somebody and then try to imbue them with fire resistance of some kind. But that's really the only way that I can think of how to do it.
I do believe that combining it with Tiku's cooking is more useful, more beneficial.
Well,
I suppose we could try drawing the runes on the ingredients that she is utilizing.
like almost like a preserving salt.
Yes.
I mean, if we want to try that, I guess we can try that. Might destroy whatever ingredient. What do you got, Tiku, that you don't mind us killing?
You can just go downstairs and get some stuff too.
As long as everyone is alright with that, of course.
I'm reading a book. I left.
Oh. Guess I'm asking you to.
Man's conked out.
Experimenting on food?
Yes.
Apparently he wants to try and juice the food.
Tiku's mine.
What could go wrong about, eating like the primal energies of the universe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Hey, look,
magic.
Tiku would eat anything, though.
And
Don't
then-
turn down good food.
So yeah, that's what I want to try and do, is basically try and imbue Tiku's ingredients with a rune weave of fire resistance. And I don't think that should be too hard, as cooking literally deals with heat. So I would basically just utilize that as the story. Basically a heat so hot, it literally transmogrifies. Alright, that's not the word I'm
Transmutes?
writing. Transmutes is probably a better term. One ingredient into another.
You can try for it.
Alright, is one I want to try. And with Gurgle's assistance,
What is Gurgle doing? Drawing the runes.
Each of you get to make your own check.
not bad. Dirty 20.
You said this is a intelligence check?
Rune weaving, which is intelligence based, and you're not proficient in it.
Yeah, I know. I just don't even know what my intelligence is.
Oh, it's just be Arcana.
It's
without
over
proficiency.
20, for what it's worth.
You said over 20?
It's over 20. It's not
I thought
25.
you had like a +1 intelligence.
It's over 20.
You only have a +1 intelligence.
Yeah, but I think I am proficient in Arcana.
You literally cannot be
So
proficient
this,
in rune weaving.
it's the same stat block as Arcana, but this is the rune weaving check.
Yeah.
You do not have proficiency
Well, then
in rune
it's
weaving.
So it's
at least
just
a 20.
intelligence.
You rolled
It's
that.
at least a 20.
It's at least what is it?
It's a
What-
20.
what is the roll?
He has a +1 intelligence. It's a 20.
I'm trying to get my...
So you rolled a 19.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 20.
Okay, I know your intelligence is +1 because of the movement from
Yes.
the last endeavor. Okay, as you are you giving them some of your ingredients, or were you going and trying to gather some more?
I would grab some from downstairs.
Okay, so as you go through and you grab a meal, you would actually be buying the food, which would be which would not be a lot. Just getting it. A little.
This is why you check. It's a 0. It's a 19.
I guess it was minimum of 1. So. Yeah.
Okay. Technically, you'd spend like 6 copper to actually get the meal itself. But as they would bring it back to you, or as they would bring it back, and you guys perform your attempt at rune weaving, the runes carved into the food do seem to actually effectively like making it hotter, as you said, almost a little bit too well. As you inscribe the runes and you start to perform the rune weave on like, for example, some of the meat actually be cooked into it, it chars and burns into the meat rather than it changing the meat. It is almost as if the rune itself is burned into the meat. That said, it seems it was successful in some fashion. You have to cook it and eat it and find out, see if it would actually worked.
And if I remember right, it takes her an hour to cook. Mm-hmm. So I'll short rest while she's doing that.
Okay. Is Tiku planning on short resting? Is everyone just short resting right now? Is that what's happening? And then you're going to cook and then you're going to leave? Or how are you doing?
I thought she could cook while short resting.
Tiku wants to. She can, because it's not super strenuous. It's like the bard.
I thought that was like the whole point was that you could cook over a short
There's
rest.
like the
Can be
bard
done
beat
on a
where you
short
can
rest.
play,
I
but
just want to know what Tiku's doing, especially because you were raising your hand before that encounter started.
Yes. I got your question.
I wanted to say this before everybody left, but so I guess I'll do it when everybody's back. But I wanted to focus on the orb, I guess, before everybody gets back, and see if I get any impressions or like what exactly he means by save the dragons. Like,
Dagneel specifically.
yeah, when Dagnell said save the dragons, like, do I get any memories or
Make a history check.
flashes of
Make a history check.
trying to sync with the soul?
Actually, I'm going to say...
licks it.
So I'm doing this as your check, which is survival.
Not ready to
Sync
eat.
with the soul? Like, to try to figure out, like, particularly the pink one?
During a little bit of this time,
Just lick it.
I would like go
Not
downstairs
ready yet.
and just like ask.
Oh,
the
good
bard
roll.
he-
Good roll.
Do you unplug it?
Yeah.
I just want to clarify
Dirty.
what I did is I wrote fire, heat, and resistance. Try to combine them into one.
Okay. Is it 30?
Dirty 30. AK, not a natural 20.
I mean, we do have pluses that are like +10 right now, so
That's not
it's
my.
like
Okay.
This is my only specialization. It's the only thing I'm good at.
that's
It's
like
fine.
me with Arcana.
It's fine. Okay, so as you take the gem and you're trying to remember and you're trying to focus, You have a familiar feeling. Again, you remember a roar that was a call. You almost have an urge to make the roar again. When you encountered the red dragon, it was almost impulsive. Now it's more of like you realize that not only is that roar, was it a call, you know how to do it. Almost like Razu mimicking a voice. But as you focus on your orb, you can almost feel like you know how to do it. You know the power or the direction that comes behind that roar.
Any indication
And
when
then-
or where I should use this roar?
In this moment as well, as you kind of focus on the orb, you focus for long enough that Tiku starts to get a little bit frustrated, and then you kind of like look up, almost like away from the orb in frustration, and you feel thousands of souls lost. They seem everywhere. They're quite literally like in the walls towards the plains. You feel them coming from Lone Peak. You feel them from the festival. These aren't like individuals. This is like you almost get an overwhelming sense of death. And then you're back in the room. All the souls are. You can still sense that same feeling,
Power
but it's
of it, but
lively.
not- yeah.
It's very much so still, again, alive, excitement, that overwhelming sense of death, that almost fear of something to come. It seems to end. And you look back to the stone. There's almost like a little pink glow inside.
Would you say that's almost like, effectively, like I'm imagining a show where like you are interacting with everybody in like a tavern, and you have a flash, like everyone you currently know is alive, like everyone is dead.
Yeah, effectively. It's almost like Tiku just had a flash that everyone at this festival, all the dragons, you just had like this sense of like everyone here is going to die.
Little grip.
Okay, when
I
everybody
would go-
comes back in.
I would go down and be just talking to the barkeeper. I would keep an eye on the guide and like make sure he's not following me. I don't think he will, but just making sure.
I mean, he's down in the bar.
Yeah, I would just sit down as if I'm having a drink and just.
Okay. Roger's going downstairs.
And I would just-
Before you go downstairs, Tiku said she actually kind of wanted to talk before everyone split, but she didn't have a chance to. You
So,
said,
it'd probably be after everybody got back, because I assume I'd look at the orb where everybody was resting. So
And this was going to be a
At
quick
this
interaction.
point.
I would just ask the innkeep.
Ballpark the cost to have somebody use the regeneration spell.
the what?
Ballpark the price if someone was to use the regeneration spell for you. If you were to hire someone to do it.
She looks down at herself and kind of like moves, and like so she's fairly overweight. Her belly almost jiggles a little bit. She kind of places her hands on her bit. She's like, "Do I strike you for someone that knows what someone would charge for 7th tier magic would be?"
You know what it
President
is.
knows what it is.
is that at 7th tier?
Go ask there. Go ask him.
Just finds the like stereotypical mage, like
She points towards a small gnome who's sitting at a table, he's like quickly writing over some scrolls.
I would approach him with my hands raised up because I'm an intimidating figure, I guess.
Hey,
It's your hands raised up.
Can I help you?
would you be willing?
I'm most busy. I'm making spell scrolls. What does it look like I'm doing, you idiot?
Would you be willing to ballpark the price that someone would charge for a regeneration spell?
Depends on the context.
Okay, let's say I didn't have my leg right now. How much would you?
Are you part of a church? Are you going to your religion house? Are you going to a random street vendor that happens to know magic of the 7th tier? Are you asking me to regenerate your leg?
Let's say a shopkeeper that can do it.
He's missing his third leg. He kind of like looks at you and says, "Well, it depends on how much they like you. I don't like you. So we're going to say
I would be in a hurry
30,000
to
gold.
regenerate that.
good talk." And then he starts writing the spell scroll again.
30,000 gold.
I like you very much.
Like you now.
Change me mind.
He just has started to ignore you, and he's writing the spell scrolls. Seems to be copying out of a book onto a scroll. Sorry, he seems to be copying from a scroll into a book. Apologies, I did that backwards. That it? You going back to the room? That's it. Okay, so you guys are able to short rest.
You know, looking at this chart, you know, if Zephyr decides to stop this whole adventuring thing, you know, he can make a pretty good life as a scroll merchant. 16 weeks to make a level 7 scroll. Actually, I can do it half that time because of my subclass. 8 weeks, 25,000 gold.
Only problem is, you also got to find buyers for said scrolls. That said, again,
like influential.
you guys are able to
Buyers
short
that
rest. You would not be able to
also
long
don't
rest
just
unless you
wanna
intend
steal
on not
from me.
attending the first step of whatever this conquest is. Are you just completing the short rest and then regrouping? Is that the
That's
plan?
my plan
I was
was.
just saying, if it was Ms. Zephyr, I wouldn't buy it from you. I'd just steal it from you.
A short rest. Well, yeah, pretty much we're just short resting, eat some food. After we eat food and talk to Tiku for a bit, take a power nap,
Okay.
then head out.
Your candle maximizes healing from short rests. It has up to 8 hours that it can burn.
Okay.
So
I'm in my room with my candle.
I know. So we're doing a short rest right now, and effectively, if you use any healing dice, for one, you're using an hour of your candle, 1 of 8, and it just maximizes the
Just
healing.
him, since he's the only one there, I assume.
It is the candle.
Nah,
being
I
burned
sleep in his
room.
bed, getting all
I
cozy.
gain 0 benefit.
Unfortunate.
Nah. I'm doing a little bit
weren't getting
of
all
cozy cuddling.
I really wish we were.
Same,
Also same.
but we'll make it through. Come on, guys.
I
go
got
team.
action
It's all
surge
King's
back.
fault. This is his master plan. He's been waiting to kill my character and yours.
Okay. Short rest had.
Justice.
Probably just me.
Justice
You guys-
works to Theron.
You guys group back up. I would say in Tiku's room this time, as she is cooking. Are you cooking with the meat that they have rune weaved?
Yep.
Okay.
We'll
Any
do it.
other things you're trying to cook with, or just that?
We're letting it. We're gonna try with just that this time. See how this goes. We'll not try to introduce any new variables. Additional
Okay.
variables, I should say.
Also means that your food isn't too exotic. You got simple beef that you had grabbed, beef and breads.
Oh, good. It's
Simple
beef and not, like,
foods.
whatever human flesh.
Minotaur?
I think.
Oh, I specifically chose beef. Trust me.
The food was proffered at this inn, and it was been requested to not be too exotic.
Minotaur. Zephyr would probably eat Minotaur.
Well, this one's not Minotaur. It is beef.
Just get it like
Do
a
I need to roll or
D&D,
they need to
where
roll?
would you
No,
draw
you
the
need to.
line?
I need to
Minotaur and
roll.
any like chicken cow variation.
This is still also your cooking check.
29.
29. Okay.
I will be partaking. We probably should have said that.
She
before
makes
she
what
rolled.
is a very spicy beef stew. Who's all eating?
I eat.
Right. Well, we always we're supposed to decide.
Yeah,
Technically
before she rolls.
Before, but yeah.
Zephyr, I already said I was eating. So.
I mean,
assume you
it's
two were
beef,
planning
so I
on eating
assume
too?
everybody eats.
We're chompers.
Okay. So everybody eats.
Kane's just like, no, I'm not going to eat it, even though I helped make it.
Actually,
It
did
is.
a good job.
I
It is hard to stomach. It is one of the most spicy things you've ever eaten. And Tiku did not intend on doing this. Spicy enough, in fact, that everyone needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Even those with fire resistance.
Is it fire?
Spice is different than fire, technically,
I mean,
but
I think if
the
any-
reason why
okay.
it's spicy is because of the fire runes, I assume.
So
Yes,
argument,
even with the fire
food
resistance.
So
poisoning
it's hot,
happens
not
from spicy
spicy.
food.
It's actually hot.
Poison
not spicy.
resistance.
It is both hot and spicy.
Okay.
The meat itself seems to have been altered.
Okay.
Is it a magical
that
effect?
Spicy would be a poison, more likely.
I imagine we're all sitting together, right?
Because it's effectively something. Yeah.
So y'all got a +5.
Would I consider it spicy to be a poison?
I would. If it was
I would say yeah. Especially because it's literally something plants make. It like
yeah.
yeah. I would
Plants
agree.
make it
I would
to
agree. I would
deter-
count this as a poison.
So if you're resistant to
19.
poison, you
Eating
get
them
advantage on the roll?
in
Yes, if you're resistant to poison, you have advantage on the
Humans
roll.
are
If you're
all
immune to
like-
poison, you would not have to roll.
bad.
Is it a magical effect?
Yes,
Let's go.
actually,
In this case, it would be.
Resistance to fire.
Holy shit!
not for this. No.
Oh, is that?
Oh no,
that
number
person's not
7
doing
around
good.
5.
Con save, you
still
said?
got
Con save indeed.
I mean, that's
5 plus 5 is 13.
well,
13?
13. No.
There's a
You're
plus 5
close to
from
Clay. You're
Eight.
close to Clay.
He's counting that.
5 and 6. Oh
Come
no.
on.
Con. I was looking at the wrong one.
Oh, you got that one?
8,
19.
19,
25.
Do I use my inspiration on this?
16.
16
No.
is the save.
I mean, maybe.
We live
not
those.
doing
We
it.
like Clay
I
Beekman.
don't even need to roll.
Oh yeah, you're immune to poison. And then
Natural 28.
Or Zephyr.
Okay.
To work through my system.
you were successful,
He's got
and
the
you
runs.
do have fire resist for the next 8 hours, and you're poisoned for the next 8 hours.
Oh yeah.
Poisoned?
Goddamn.
God.
He got the runs. He's got the runs.
The spell was successful mostly.
Why wouldn't you say like every 3 turns he needs to spend his turn, taking a shit or something?
And I'm just confirming.
Yeah, working.
He's got to
just in
sit
case,
on the toilet.
This doesn't stack with fire resistance.
I mean,
Okay, just
wait,
make it
for
check.
how long? He said?
8 hours.
It is the
Hours.
buff.
Okay.
As long as you have the fire resistance, you are poisoned.
Oh, okay.
It's the same
So I
effect.
have fire resistance as well as being.
Yeah, so everyone that ate it got fire
Okay.
resistance. And then you, along with the fire resistance, are poisoned for the 8 hours too.
Oh god.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I just
We like rolling
don't think
16s. We
sitting
like
well with me,
being
guys.
next to Clay Beekman.
There was experimentations done on it.
Yep. Yep. I can
Was
feel that.
And you
Mostly
would.
successful.
This one was not the good fault.
The reason I use the spicy as an analogy is it does feel like almost like the lining on your stomach is burning. As in addition to the fact that this doesn't seem to settle incredibly well, almost like to a magical point, it seems to stay with you.
Does the effect even feel enhanced?
Hey, could
That's
you
not what we were trying to do.
help me out?
Really wish I could.
Can't. Okay. Maybe I can. Let me see. Can I do anything? Wait. don't paladins cure the poison condition? Okay, never mind. I can.
Yeah.
I can
if
handle
I
this.
had lay on hand points left,
I got this.
which I only get back on a
Where'd you use the spell
long
slot?
rest.
Lesser restoration.
The one spell slot you have?
It's a second level spell slot. I have
Actually-
I thought you said you only had one spell slot.
I only
Actually,
have one useful one. I
Lesser-
didn't expect the level 2 to be useful.
Lesser restoration would cleanse it, but it would cleanse the fire resist as well.
You know, I'm okay with that. Poison kind of sucks.
Okay, so you would have eaten the food and eliminated the effect. For what it's worth, using the spell, getting it out of your system, you could attempt to eat the food again.
Wait, doesn't using that spell that way, doesn't that extract the poison through the pores?
No, that's with the paladin one specifically.
That's just the way that I
That's right.
use
Oh,
it. That's
no, it's
my
alcohol.
version of getting.
So you're
Hey,
Drunk.
I already
Burning.
feel like shit. I think I'm okay with it.
Whatever gets the sweet, sweet relief. You know when you're like eat something really hot and you're like, oh god, I wish it would stop.
A glass of milk.
You start crying. You're like,
bro just starts
just make it stop.
ascending.
I don't
That's
fucking
actually
care.
how I like my spicy food.
For the sake of this one, I would say it makes you throw up. You cast Lesser Restoration, and it almost has the spell. The spell almost like
fine.
takes the lining off your stomach, and it just all comes back up. As
Oh,
for the
that's
first
like
time
my
since you've
burn.
seen Tigu, and as long as you can remember, someone throws up after eating your food.
That was not my fault.
I just
And
want you to know,
also-
TQ, nobody else here threw up, so I think this is more of a Zephyr problem.
do we need fire resistance?
Again, it was a proof of
No,
concept.
like, do we need it for the next thing?
No.
No, okay.
Might find it
I mean, you don't know. We never know. We don't know what we need.
To answer
But I know
you-
what I do need.
There won't
I
be
need a long
salad.
rest.
To answer you, Zephyr, I was trying something with Gurgle, and new unique magic. And I was trying to see if it would work with Tiku's cooking, and the answer
mean,
is
it kinda
resounding
worked.
Yes. To
I mean,
avoid.
if you want to make your enemies vomit, that's a good way to do it.
Just need a,
Technically,
you just
you're
need
the
a
only one
more
who did.
you just need a more resistant stomach.
I'm gonna go downstairs and see if they get some crackers to help settle my stomach.
I'm just imagining
Stay away from the
if the
toilet.
lesser
Get some ginger
restoration
ale.
was a little bit crazier, and he just like
Or mint.
Gojo style starts ascending, and
I'm not
red
eating
spicy
gingers.
liquid just starts coming out of the pores in his stomach.
Okay,
Stay away from the toilet, Zephyr.
A bit more graphic.
so your short rest has been completed. At this point, you've probably got about 3 hours left until this.
2 hours until we have to leave.
Yeah, so you have
everybody
like 2 hours
comes-
before you need to leave, and then an hour before this conquest, this first round of the conquest.
We also could leave early.
Okay, short rest.
Yes. Everyone get a short rest, and then is there anything you wish to do in the 2 hours? Do you want to head
I
over
wish
early?
to take a long rest.
Can't do that.
We had catnap.
Doesn't catnap allow you to take a short rest in 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. Not a long rest?
I thought it was. Oh yeah, I guess
Yeah, it's
it
a
is.
short
Yeah,
rest
Yeah,
in
yeah,
10
you're right.
minutes.
You're right. You're right. It is short rest. I forgot.
I want to go find a forge and practice putting runes on metal.
That would not be a super short endeavor.
Well,
Got 2 hours.
a couple of hours.
Okay, so Gurgle wants to go and look for a forge to start attempting to do rune waving. For the sake of this would be investigation.
Three.
3. Gurgle is looking for a forge. What is happening in the 2
I'm
hours?
exploring.
Didn't Tiku say she wanted to talk to everyone? Before he leaves?
Speak, Tiku.
You said you
Remember
wanted us.
the rock dragon that we saw earlier?
Dagniel, yes.
Yeah. I think something bad is gonna happen.
I presume, based upon the... never mind. The warning was only said to her. I apologize. I did not say anything. What makes you say that?
He told me to save the dragons. And I just saw a lot of dead souls.
People have been dying constantly, probably since
No.
the festival has started.
Everybody dying. All the dead souls.
Us dying?
We thought about this event and we knew nothing about it, right?
No.
The Dragon Wars are like millennia ago.
Yeah. I was just making sure that was the case.
And the Dragon Festival, the only thing you've heard of Dragon Festival is like there are some cities that host dragon festivals, but it's like just dragon themed, usually around foods. As far as like an actual dragon festival with thousands of dragons and groupings of tens of thousands of people, no, there's never heard anything like this.
How certain are you of this, Tiku?
Pretty sure.
That everyone here perishes, us included?
Did I see our souls?
Didn't it was overwhelming enough you would have not have thought to look for your friends in that moment. You felt alive.
Tiku felt alive, but I didn't see anyone else alive.
So we all died in your orb vision.
At least all the dragons and the humans and the human adjacent and the orcs and the goblins and the gnolls and the...
Are you...
Did you see any dead ground?
I'm pretty sure she's saying she didn't see us alive or dead.
I didn't see anything alive.
I didn't say
Lots
me.
and
I just
lots of
said
souls.
ground in general.
I couldn't tell what all the souls were race-wise.
So the question here, Tiku, is... Since this is technically within the past, are you not seeing the present where all of these souls would have perished? Just due
No.
to the passage of time.
I was still in this building.
So you're saying that they all die while you are within this building?
No. While we were in this time.
Well, I mean, ultimately, we don't have any information to work off of.
So,
Something
Events are
bad
gonna be
is gonna
transparent.
happen.
Well, let's keep our eyes open. Keep our
Can you
Keep
witness
our ear
the
to the
future?
ground.
Only if the souls tell me about it.
I mean, technically speaking, we are all witnesses to the future.
Which soul in particular gave you this vision? As it was not Dagniel, as he does not possess a soul. Or at least if he did, it's within there now.
Daniel.
You mean within that rock?
Maybe others too.
Do you feel like the rock whispered to you? The rock that you have? That the orbs combined
No,
with?
I feel like I synchronized with their souls.
Perhaps commune with it a little further. Try and collect a little more information.
I don't think it knows more information.
Does it have a direction of what it wants us to do? Are we trying to stop it? Are we trying to leave?
He said to save the dragon, so I'm pretty sure we're supposed to stop it.
The only thing I can think of is that this god usurper succeeds and then eradicates the dragons when he does so.
That's
God
very
is
possible,
good.
actually.
The god prisoner is a good lead. The usurper's a good lead.
The god prisoner, I believe, is...
Oravel's a good
usurper.
lead.
Well, Zephyr, do you want to hit up the library and see what we can find with the time we have remaining?
Gargo, can you figure out who the usurper is?
I think
Zagning's late
It'd
and
be better to
platinum in
do
its
it
arms.
after our
I can look around while I'm looking for a forge.
contest.
But-
I don't think this is a time-sensitive thing at the moment.
Yeah, but don't we have like 2 hours to kill right now?
3 hours.
Yes, and it may take
2.
longer.
There's an hour of travel there.
2 hours. 2.
And I wouldn't want something to happen exploring the city.
What's gonna happen if we're exploring the library?
Strangers?
Is there a library?
We're
Maybe?
we're in a city full of randos.
With dragons, making sure no one can do anything like against rules.
And if you do something against the rules...
Yeah, I'm just going to
Don't break the rules. Just don't
wait.
shout in the library, I guess.
Just wait until we're done with this first one, and then we can go check out whatever.
I think finding out who the usurper is and who the god is a good idea.
I feel like figuring out.
Those are the
This
same
first
numbers.
challenge.
I feel like common knowledge that we don't have. There are races that I don't even think exist in our timeline.
Name one.
There's one we saw with
Did you
Elf
see that
Girl up
midget
there.
dragonborn? Our guide is so cute.
Did you say
He's
it
like
was
a
an elf?
baby dragonborn.
First of all...
But
she
it's
could have been
perma baby. It's like a pumpkin.
She could have been a druid. She could have just been a dragon, taking human form.
I'm not saying you're wrong,
But took liberties on her form.
but from what I could see, the scribe looked not like a race I've seen before.
Could I identify his
Razi's-
race?
Razi's like, I would like to dissect that.
Well, they've probably got pictures of that in the library.
Your father's coming out in here right now.
Run to the restroom real quick.
We got 2 hours to kill.
It doesn't mean we need to kill people and dissect them for information.
Yeah, that's why we go look at them in books.
Yeah, we're not. I'm not going. If you get lost, then this is gonna be a big problem.
Well, you know where I will be for 2 hours.
Oh, I will not. I have no idea where you're going, Razu.
Probably to the library.
And where is that, pray tell?
I will ask the barkeeper.
We have a guide.
I will ask the guide.
Gosh, second smartest person in our party.
Not the most wise.
Welcome to her reoccurring joke. So you want to go ask Zarion?
So, is there a library?
Oh,
Book, reading place?
there might be some stalls that sell some books. That might be possible. But library, no. Oh, there is. Perhaps if you not here, not around Lone Peak, but you're willing to pay for maybe a month-long guide, I could take you to the nearest library. You would want to go to the necromantic city.
Well, do you know of
Necromantic city? What's the necromantic? I'm not there. Kaka, what's the necromantic city's name?
A flutter tiku has its own ghost. She commutes you spirits.
what are all the nearby cities?
The nearby cities are, define nearby.
On this continent.
Oh, God.
Large major cities on this continent.
Oh God.
We're just gonna say he shows me a map.
Oh my dragon.
Oh, my Dragon King.
Otroshum.
That's a good one. He kind of thinks and he says, I am a guide, but I have not explored all of the world as of yet, and not even all of Altira, unfortunately. That said, I can tell you, the the closest one here to, is the necromantic capital. Again, that would be Ecladon. Long-standing, dedicated to death, it is the main holdout point against our dragons. Think of it as the nearest stronghold. That said, other cities around here that still stand. I think currently most of them have been razed.
All right.
Almost everyone, as he gestures out into the crowd, he says, "This is the gathering or the remnants of the cities, though, if that matters. Those that would join Dragonkind in the war."
All right. Is there a nearby stall where I could meet a scribe that has general knowledge of books and a collection of reading material?
Potentially. I can't say that that books are usually where most people find themselves inclined, so I would have to look for them. But I could do my best. Find you a stall. Perhaps even very well for a bonus. What the hell was that noise? Oh, it was him opening the cheese stick.
Nah, it was
So
me.
weird.
Raju made that sound.
What?
All right. I tell you what. I will tip you 1 silver after you find it.
Silva, what kind of books are you looking for?
Mostly just general knowledge of this era and the ongoings of the current world and the standings of the war and everything as it's current in detail.
In a book?
Or a scribe that knows about it.
You seem to want to just, speak with the War Dragons Council. The information that you're requesting, well, I can tell you. The Dragon War has been raging for, maybe close to a century, some believe maybe closer to 2, but dozens, if not hundreds of years. As of right now, there's been wins and losses on both sides. And until this festival, no key members have been eliminated from either side, but that changes this week. For one of the gods have finally been captured, and, in a show of faith, the Dragon King, or whoever, the usurper, I guess you could say, will show us what it is, or what it means to truly kill a god, hopefully reinvigorating the fighting spirit of those loyal to the cause. That said, the actual standing of war, again, you would need to speak with amongst the King's War Council.
Which god?
I don't remember.
My memory is foggy.
Give him my gold.
Oh no! I can't.
I'm sorry. My memory is oftentimes hazy. I have found a cure that works on occasion. The fragrance of new gold is liberating. You should try it sometime. Hard to do with your own, but with new, it is something wonderful. That said, if you want to book on perhaps the necromantic city's history, perhaps the... I'm not entirely sure where you're from. I was trying to get something local to your area, but you strike me as odd. In that case, perhaps you're from the Glacier Isles. You are quite, perhaps, insulated against weather. I'm sorry, I'm stereotyping.
Well,
what is it that you want? That I can reasonably procure, that is.
I was just like, bah.
You can go to what somebody else is doing for a bit. I'm going to think for a second here.
He's like,
Razu gets a table and just starts. At which point Zarion starts to mingle with the other tables. Gurgle is spending the time trying to find a forge. It's very difficult. Are the rest of you just waiting? Are you leaving early?
Zephyr's taking a power nap and nursing on some crackers.
Zephyr is going to rest a little bit longer.
You did almost shit his pants. Probably did a few times.
I'm curious. I want to retreat to my room, and I want to, utilizing the gold necklace, I want to, similar to what I've done in the past, try and connect with Orlevale. Basically, similar in the past where I've gotten a small connection with him. Try that.
Religion check.
Guidance or no?
Yeah, you guidance it.
Ooh, 26.
As you focus on the amulet, you can feel that the connection is actually still there, but there's no response. It's almost like, so the idea that this is the best example. It's like you called someone, they answered the phone, but you don't hear anything.
All right.
Okay. Apart from that, unless somebody has something, I assume you guys effectively are just going to rest before heading to to this sixth
small meaningless tasks.
Okay. Unfortunately, you are not able to find a forge, nor are you able to find someone who directs you towards it. Most of the individuals that you interact with would immediately be trying to sell you something or to get you to participate in their various games. Some of which, seeing how nimbly you can move through the crowd, are even looking to recruit you into potential adventuring parties. Some are even recommending that you. Some are even recommending that you sign up for the Dragon Knights to serve the Dragon King. So a little bit of information gathered about what these individuals want, but unfortunately, if there is a forge, what I will say you're able to determine is that it would not be in the canyon surrounding it. It would have to be within Lone Peak in one of these caves or these tunnels going in, or maybe even perhaps in the plains behind you. But the actual this moat-like canyon does not seem to have a moat as far as you're able to progress.
I would want to ask Malrith's opinion on the Orlevale that we saw. I'm just curious on her opinion of him.
My opinion would be that is a mischievous dragon, not like the one I see in your head. Much more planning, mischievous, or jovial, jokingly.
A jester.
Of sorts, yes. It is. I just went freaking Rocco. It is. It is odd. That is not the individual in your mind.
I concur. Granted, it has been several thousand years.
People can change.
Thank you.
Okay. So with that, You guys regroup after Gurgle has attempted to find a forge, gathered a little bit of information, but unsuccessfully gathered information on the forge. And Razu spends an hour sitting at the table before you guys tell me it's time to go, and he goes, "Oh," and kind of would just get up to proceed with you. And again, the festivities in no way seem to simmer down. In fact, it seems to be even more lively since before you guys went to the Inks, the Inks Tavern, which is where you've been staying.
You sure everyone's gonna die, Tiku? Everyone seems very lively.
I'm pretty sure I saw like a dozen people get squished by a dragon. More than once.
When?
When they're fighting and falling and a lot of things, actually. There's one over there.
For what it's worth, he points out a dragon and where it hit, and you're just like, yeah, there should with the size of that dragon that had died in the fight, because that is definitely still happening. As they're moving the dragon, which other dragons are actually the ones that come to almost like pick it up and carry it off, you expect to see like broken stalls or dead individuals with how fairly densely populated this area is. As they pick it up, no one's under him. No one even seems to have been hurt when the dragon fell. That said, as you guys kind of walk past, one of the individuals you walk past is kind of like patting themselves down. And it's like, it never ceases to amaze me. And his friends kind of turns, like, what do you mean? He's like, I definitely was squished by that. In a moment that just I was normal. A few paces back, yet it landed in front. The king's power is truly to be admired. With that being the case, though, as you guys continue to proceed through seeing other fairly barbaric, in Michaela's words, fairly barbaric carnival games, as they do not seem to, again, they don't seem to die down at all. And if anything, they seem to be getting more excited as the day goes on.
Just as we're walking, I just want to like ask like once every like a couple minutes, just if they know the name of the usurper god.
You just effectively you're carousing. You're carousing
just
as you go.
Walking, just asking just a dozen people.
Okay, so there'd be a general persuasion. I'm gonna say
Investigation, because you're asking. You're
I would.
investigating.
It would
you're
be
collecting information.
You're carousing, and it would be an investigation check.
Natural 20 for a 19.
Feels sad, man.
Oh wait, you said investigate. Sorry, 21.
There you go.
It is a little bit better.
+1 to the -1.
You are able to get a little bit of information, and the little bit of information is that, like the individuals that you ask, you get responses from, "If I knew, why would I tell you?" In like a fairly aggressive way. You get others that are like, "Why do you think I would know the name of a dragon? Who do you think I am?"
God.
I thought you asked the usurper.
The usurper god, the one challenging the king. I thought
Okay,
it was god.
so his assumption is that the usurper and the god are the same.
No, I thought we were literally told that a god
No.
was challenging the king.
No, there's a usurper
so
to the
there's
king.
a god that's going to be killed as part of the festival, but then there's someone that challenged the king. And you guys, I think I said this, but if not, you discover this.
I thought
you
they
discover
were
that a
different,
dragon challenged the dragon king for the king's spot. The god being killed is just part of the festivities, and whoever wins the challenge match
Gets to kill
is
the god.
going to kill the god, and that is what is going to end the festival.
Then I would also be looking for the god's name. I didn't realize they were separate individuals. My
Okay,
apologies.
if I didn't make that clear, I apologize. But as he
Apparently
carouses,
it was. I just misunderstood it.
But yes,
I thought
three
it was your
individuals.
theory,
There's
I
the
didn't
Dragon
realize,
King.
yeah.
Some people have called him Dragon God, so that might be part of why you're getting confused. There's the Dragon King, who's most commonly referred. There's a god that they seem to have captured that they believe they can kill, and then there's a dragon that challenged the Dragon King for the king's spot.
Just a little bit of tidbit information, just in case. The people that basically responded with, "If I knew, why would I tell you?" I would try and barter the Dragon King's name if they don't know it. Basically, information for information.
And you got a 21 investigation check? Now make a persuasion check.
Bardic inspiration.
6?
Bardic inspiration is a D8.
D6 at my level.
7.
Holy shit.
This man.
Razu just sits his face is like,
God damn it.
You find one individual. You find what appears to be a dragonborn, just a silver dragonborn. Though he effectively he says, "Why would I tell you, even if I knew?" And when you offer up the king's name, he kind of like, "And how do you know the king's name?"
It was told to me, as I will tell it to you.
He looks at the small dragonborn guide with you, and the small as Zarion just kind of.
Don't look at me.
It's not that hidden to the point that like you two see it easily. It would go, I believe, it would go past some of your guys. It would go past some of your eyes, but it's not that apparent. But he's
Is it directed to me or the Dragonborn?
it's to the Dragonborn. As he looks to him, and he goes,
Not by him.
"Be careful with the information that you're his brother. I don't know, but I'm surprised you're asking around with him in tow. That little rat knows everything."
Yeah, I don't have 10 platinum.
And then he would go back off into the crowd. With that's the only like meaningful interaction you'd get from it. It does seem that Dragon's name, despite even with offering the king's name, the one other thing that I would say as well, when you offering the king's name, there are individuals that are like, if I knew, why would I tell you? That when you say that, they almost seem scared. Like they don't want to know the king's name. And that almost like is like they almost retreat as soon as you say that, making excuses. Some just blatantly like, oh, nope, don't want any part of this. And sometimes even audibly, she'll be like, nope, that's too dangerous for me. And then they just leave. With that, as you guys actually arrive at your destination, this sixth area.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
When the Dragonborn basically responded that, I would turn to the Dragonborn midget.
Zarion.
Zarion. And would you be willing to make that trade? Assuming you don't know.
Oh, that is where you have a slight problem. I do know. I'm an information broker. It's what I do. If you have information that I don't know, though, then we might have a discussion.
I do have one tidbit.
I'm all ears.
We're from the future.
Well, now you've lost the bargaining chip.
Make a persuasion check. As he starts to think to himself, and he's going to
5. But I ain't lying, so...
He kind of thinks for a moment. Says, "You're either crazy from the future. Really, I believe those actually might be the only options.
Those don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Valid. However, that information does me no good.
We know who wins the Dragon Wars.
That information will do me good."
Do we?
Yes, I would trade you that.
The gods.
I'm not necessarily sure. And plus,
Curious.
I will not tell you how. That
Vorthalax.
purchase. Sorry, Vorthalax?
Vorthalax. Don't spread it. She is
And that was the king?
unkind.
The king's Vorthalax?
No.
Which one is that?
The usurper.
That is Vorthalax. Vorthalax. Sorry, Vorthalax is who, according to this midget dragonborn, the most trustworthy of sources, is who challenged the Dragon King.
And
Have I heard of Vorthalax? Is
Nope.
she a present day? Okay.
Negative.
Just making
It
sure.
is not a
And-
dragon you've heard of.
for the god's name, what if I told you the strongest god And I know this since the beginning.
Then I don't believe that would do me any good. What value does knowing who the strongest god is?
Bargaining chip for dragons. Ooh, they love a good fight.
I don't think you understand the purpose of a war. The dragons intend on killing all of the gods.
Exactly, and what do you think they would trade for the knowledge? Against the strongest.
I mean, do you have a bargaining chip? Do you have dirt on him? A name is but a name.
Let's put it like this. If they have an ace up their sleeve that you don't know about, there's a lot bigger chance of them turning the tables. But if you already know, you can plan, you can prepare.
I think you have a misconception. See, you seem to think that I don't know that you do not work for the dragons, nor do you side with them. From what I can tell from observing all of you, you have little stake in what happens in this dragon war. The outcome is all but predetermined in your eyes, as your friend has just now told me. And you seem to think that I have a large investment in the dragons winning. But I don't.
It's not
I don't feel
about...
threatened telling you that is mutual interest, shared interest in other individuals not knowing what we say. Especially when you have, as you say, a bargaining chip. And he holds a gem. As he kind of like twists it, you hear Kane's voice for just a moment saying, I'll trade your, or saying, would you trade the dragon's god, or the dragon king's name for it? He says, see, this is what you call a bargaining chip. Puts it back in his hand.
Oh, Kane's gonna die.
For what it's worth, he was the only one who noticed that. That portion, that specifically that voice and him doing it, all you guys just saw him spin the gem.
Well, Trinity knows it.
True, but the actual voice that you heard, almost the recording, was only you were able to hear that.
But from what I can see, you're a bigger piece than you let on.
Oh, not at all. I am an information connoisseur, a guide for would-be adventurers. I take the utmost pleasure in it.
A guide for would-be adventurers that happens to have access to 7th level spells that happened to fall upon our group for no reason, just because you're a good judge of character.
I appreciate you noticing how good I at my job that I truly am. I truly do.
And know the names of multiple dragons.
Very good.
He's
Very
like,
good.
yes. Just keep praising. Freaking Razu over there, freaking stroking his ego.
Literally making it rain on the guy.
I do appreciate the compliments. I am very good, I know.
Do you need to find a room? Give him a quick blowy while you're at it.
Don't make Ethan jealous.
You know what?
Chill.
Do you know what this is?
Just a deck of cards.
Well, what if I could tell you that this alone, if you draw from it, could give you more money than a dragon's hoard?
Then I would tell you to draw from it. You just told me earlier that you guys are struggling for money.
That's fair. But it does come with some risks.
Trinity loved that.
Effectively, equal drawbacks.
Wonderful. You're down and out. I understand if you wish to draw.
If you have no interest.
So,
So look, we're here. As he points. As he points to what you guys are looking at in front of you, real quick.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, quick question before you end up leaving us. So you're not worried about the outcome of what happens here? You feel safe either way?
Of course.
Okay. Apparently you don't need any help, so we'll be on our way then.
I wish you the best of luck. I'll be rooting for you. I will not leave. Again, you have me for the day. I would at least escort you back to the inn as long as you survive, of course. I look forward to your steadfast victory.
Should we be concerned about not surviving?
Yes, always. As he turns and kind of like walks into
no real faith
That
in
has
you
good
guys.
advice.
as he walks into almost what appears to be like a viewing section. There's a larger group of individuals that are standing, almost looking down at a railing. He has brought you guys to, you're very close to Lone Peak, to where the back of this would actually be Lone Peak, like a stone wall. Not but 30, it probably closer to like 50 feet up is another one of those almost like outcroppings with what appears to be a bronze dragon that is looking about, and more than a couple times you guys notice its gaze very clearly being drawn to each of you in turn. This almost makeshift gladiatorial arena is what you're looking at. There's a staircase that goes down into what is so it'd be octagonal, but like a very long octagon. I don't know what that would be. So it's like the middle section of it is stretched out, but it still has the 8 separate sides to it that kind of box off what is this rectangular octagon? I'm not entirely sure.
Stellated octagon.
Stellated octagon. Stellated octagon is what this would be. There is large, almost what appears to be large black, reminds you of like a brimstone or a cobblestone that has been mixed with likely just the dirt and soil that is at the bottom of this canyon that kind of splits the terrain a little bit. It's about 5 feet tall, easily could be climbed on top, but also like breaks sight lines from what is almost like lanes that have been made through this arena. There are larger bushes that could likely hide in, that people could hide in. There's almost like a large tree, or tree would almost be a loose description for it. It almost looks like an algae growth. There's like a base like that looks like a tree, but then there's 3 long, almost like green, again, algae-like vines, or almost looks like to be branches of sort, like an underwater tree that is awkwardly grown, I guess. In addition to that, there's larger silver rocks. Like these ones are almost like flat. They almost look like to be like effectively platforms. I think they're called pellets. Yes, pellets. They're larger like stone pellets that are like 3-4 feet wide in some cases, some only being like a couple inches even. But there's these long silver-like rocks that even from the angle you guys are currently, even from where you're at right now, as you look to it, the edges of those, with how they come down to a point, would be like razor sharp. Think like working with obsidian, with how deadly and dangerous they could be if they were to shatter, or if you were to use them to try and maybe throw or anything like that. There's already a group that is standing inside. They've made their way to the effectively the left side of the arena. The group that you're looking at appears to have 2 goblins, a bugbear, and then 2 wargs.
Wargs are like the wolf-like.
Yeah, like very, very large wolves. They're quite literally, they're large in stature, like a little mini stature, I mean. So 2 wargs, a bugbear, and 2 goblins. The goblins and the wargs don't look all too impressive. They're kind of what you guys would have come to expect from your lives. The bugbear, however, appears to be adorned in full plate mail. He has a flail. Attached to his waist, and then he has a staff that is glowing green at the tip of it. With that, the same half elf that the 3 of you had encountered before walks up to you and she says, Oh, wonderful. You're actually here. I was beginning to wonder if you guys were actually going to make it. We're actually pretty close to the start time, unless there's something you need to do to prepare. Honestly, you can simply enter in. The crowd is already waiting. Technically, you do have a few minutes, so don't feel incredibly rushed. One might say 5 to 10 minutes. But if you wish to start now, simply enter and make your way to the edge of the arena.
I start ritual casting a spell.
Okay. You start to get ritual cast a spell. She says, apparently you want the 10 minutes. So, as soon as your spell is done, again, enter the arena, make your way to the far side, and we shall begin. The goal of this is capture the leader, I guess you could say. I feel it's fairly obvious who the leader in their group is. That would be the Bugbear. And you, Kane, based on our encounter earlier, would be the leader of your group. They have already been informed. This is a instance of protect your leader and eliminate the other one. The fight will go until your leader either forfeits or is dead. Any questions?
Well, we'll try not to die.
Yes, best of luck.
Hold
Best
on.
of luck.
We're going to need an assault team and a defense team. I think it's clear to say I should be on the defense team to keep our leader alive.
Fine.
And
I'll
I feel
hand you my potion of invulnerability.
Don't use it unless you have to.
and I propose
I'm not
that,
losing because you died.
I propose that we use Gurgle, Zephyr, and Tiku as our offense team. You need to stay on defense with me.
Fuck you, I'm the barbarian.
Stay on defense.
All right, fine. Tiku stays on defense.
Tiku, not first.
I believe Zephyr should also be on defense. If I'm not mistaken, he is not capable of offense. At least not to the
well, I mean,
extreme
I have a couple hits in me right now.
Last I checked,
you can
though, he
also-
has a knack for team killing.
But he's also very offensive from a range.
I know he's offensive.
I'm good at avoiding people.
Sometimes.
Are you?
I have all that still available. I just don't have lots of spells to use.
At this point, your thought process almost gets interrupted as
Now
you,
shut up! I'm trying to focus.
as you hear someone calling out, "Conquest! Conquest! Round 1, Arena 6, beginning soon!" As you turn and you see another half-orc, different half-orc from the one that you had seen before, but in a similar garb. He actually has a what appears to be a sign, effectively. He's got a rope wrapped around his neck, tied to the edges of a sign, and there is your group's name, which is literally called Team Kane, and then the
Novocaine.
Novocaine.
the
Make their
team
enemies numb.
the team that you're fighting against is the Goblin Riders. With that, as he continues to call out, and he's place your bets. Which team? Oh, yes. And he takes a handful of what appears to be like silver and bronze coins. Someone gives him a couple gold as this man's running around taking bets from this. What is a fairly large group of individuals that has gathered to watch? You got a good close to 100 people that have showed up to watch.
Can we bet on ourselves?
Conquest. You want to go ask him?
Sure.
As you walk up to him, he says, "Oh, can I help you? Are you looking to bet?
Can we bet on ourselves?
Oh, you're part of Team Kane. Yes. You certainly can bet on yourself.
Cubix Ascenders, that is some bullshit.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It is what is on the Conquest board. If you wish to switch it, you'll have to do other things. That said, absolutely, you can bet on yourself. Just know that if you lose, I get the money.
Thoughts?
Oh, you don't
I'm
have it
casting
on
a
you.
spell.
He's like a collection of the group.
Conquest 6, starting soon. as he
rough.
just starts
Zephyr
to walk
does
away.
have all the money.
I am casting a spell. I'm not grabbing money right now.
Okay.
As Razu,
Is it double value?
As you go to talk to him, as you kind of interrupt him again, he seems a little bit more frustrated this time. He goes, "The odds for betting on yourself would be 2.5 to 1.
In
All
your
right.
favor or against you?
2.5 to 1
Against
means
you.
that if you put a gold in, you get 2.5 back.
All right.
I'll just go into Zephyr's back and take like 5 platinum.
Yeah, you can't get to it that easily. It's in the necklace.
I'm robbing 5 platinum.
I mean, it would just be like, do you give him the necklace, or does it go?
Yeah, I'll
Okay, so he just like, as you're casting your spell, he just like comes to start to pull it off, and it's like when you're on the phone and your spouse comes to try to take something from you, you just hand it to him, or you let him take it. He takes it off. And you bet 5 platinum on yourself, and he goes, "Thank you for your patronage. Best of luck. May you lose." Conquest 6, as he keeps going. As you finish casting.
I'm doing the telepathic mind. Rary's telepathic bond. That's what it is. So we can telepathically talk to each other.
Okay. As you guys have a telepathic bond now established, Half-Elf again comes up to you and she says, "Well, at this point, your time would be up. If you do not enter the arena, you will be forfeiting the match. Do you wish to forfeit, or are we going in?"
We're entering.
We're going in.
Best of luck.
During that time, I've casted Long Strider, like as we're walking towards the start.
I'm also going to summon Malrith to my side as we're walking in.
Okay. So as you guys make your way up, to the right side of the arena, opposite the Goblin Riders, and prepare for battle, you summon Malrith, you cast Long Strider, telepathic bond now established.
By the way, I'm probably gonna play in the middle. I'll try to hop between the two, depending what happens.
Okay. As you guys get to the edge and you effectively truly prepare for battle, Razu again, you cast Long Strider, Malrith's now summoned. The half-elf steps up to the edge, calling down to the arena, and she says, "And now, may Conquest 6 begin. I wish you both the best of luck. May everyone survive." And that is where we're going to end for today. We'll have to see how Conquest 6 is going to pick up next week.
Did we level up?
No.
All right, so on that note, we will for sure be streaming next week. We love you, Jasmine. Thank you for always hanging out. Have a good week. Bye-bye.